There we go. Can you hear me, chat? Do I sound okay? Please tell me this worked. Jeez. What a week, huh? Oh, thank God. Thank you, Neo. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Sheesh. Whew. Yeah. So I had to restart my PC. I think Neo... I don't think you were there. Neo and Wingus, I don't think you were there for the... when I started the stream. I had to restart my PC because for some reason my mic was just spewing static. I don't know why, but I also don't know why restarting my PC did the job. But yeah, so, you know, this has been interesting. And now I'm all sweaty too, so. Clearly my antiperspirant has failed. Whew. Man, okay. Well, now we're gonna get into the stream. Sheesh. Alright, well, first off, we're gonna say hi to these, to you wonderful people, and, oh, jeez, I gotta do one more thing, hang on. Okay, let me just paste this in here. And that just for fun. There we go. Alright, so yeah, I guess first I'll make this little announcement. I finally figured out how to set up stream elements in Ko-Fi, so if you guys ever feel like sending a TTS derailing the stream, you absolutely can. Let's just say I have an interesting narrator for the TTS. Of course, you never have to, but if you want to, just to be entertaining, you're always welcome to. But, whew, anyway, alright, let's say hi to you wonderful people as I fire up the VM and browser. Let's see, so who's in here? Alright, so we got a bunch of people, but yeah, social stream I only just opened, so. But I think everybody that's chatted is in here, so. First person down here is Wingus. How you doing, Wingus? Hope you're doing well. Sorry about the technical issues there. We got Fallen Angel. How you doing, Fallen Angel? We got Fractured. Hope you're doing well, man. And we got Neo in chat. Alright, let's see what you guys are actually saying. Tech issues. Use the term wire incorrectly. You should say cord. I don't think it really makes a difference. Yeah, good. I'm glad you can hear me and not whatever weird noise was going on in the background. Eesh. Should call Indian Tech Support Fallen Angel. I am Indian Tech Support. Whew. But yeah, it's all working, thankfully. Once you have money to spend. Oh, well, you're never obligated to send anything. Yeah, that's just for, like, you know, if someone ever wants to, you know. Somebody like me who's commonly compelled to send super chats here and there when I'm enjoying stream. Whew. Alright. Alright, now we can get into it. Now we can get into it, chat. So, originally, I actually had some interesting stuff to talk about related to Arkham. But it's like a long thing, and it's probably not worth getting into with everything going on. So we'll save that for next week, and we'll react to some of the big news going on this week. But first things first, there's actually something kind of cool I wanted to show you guys. So if you guys have an NVIDIA graphics card, if it is either the Batman who sweats, yeah, unfortunately every antiperspirant only works so well. But yes, this stream low latency. It better be low latency. If I can. Okay, yeah, it's low latency at least. Okay, good. But yeah, so if you guys have an NVIDIA graphics card, either a 40 series or 50 series, there's something that might be worth checking out. So let me bring this up. NVIDIA Smooth Motion. So NVIDIA in their latest drivers just added smooth. smooth motion for the 40 series GPUs. So I have a 4090. So if you have a 50 series card, you've had smooth motion for a while, but if you update to the latest NVIDIA driver, if you're on a 40 series GPU, you have access to this too. And what smooth motion is basically it's just like DLSS frame gen, but it's for games that don't actually have DLSS available. So if you open up the NVIDIA app and you look for smooth motion, like in the screenshot here, you'll see it. So right at the bottom there, that's smooth motion option. So basically it will attempt to double your frame rate in any game that uses DirectX 11, 12, or uses Vulkan, which should be most modern games. So anything newer than like 2015 should be using these latest graphics APIs. So if you're, for example, if you're playing a game that's like locked at 30 FPS or 60 FPS, this might be a great way to get your game up to 60 or 120 or whatever it may be. So, you know, check that out if you'd like some free AI frames. So I turned this on for, I got Spider-Man 2002 running in the Xbox emulator. And, you know, emulated games are usually locked to either 30 or 60 FPS. But this made the game run, well, this gave me 120 FPS in Spider-Man, which is pretty cool. So, that's worth checking out. Just a little thing I thought I'd tell you fine folks about. Alright, so the next step, we're going to do a quick react here to... close the window. We're going to quickly react to another Paul Joseph Watson video. We're going to crap on women. That's the influencers. Jack, because it's funny. Keep closing out of my notes. You're still on your 2080 Ti, so no AI frames. That sucks, Fractured. Yeah, I know that is an older card. I still remember back when, so like, I had a 1080 back in the day, and I still remember when the 20 series came out. I was like, this is a terrible series. Because it was like, it basically just added RTX, and it was not nearly enough of a performance boost from the 1080. So I was like, I'm just going to wait. And then when the 30 series came out, I finally got a 3080. And then... No, I got a 3090. And then I actually ended up with a 3090 Ti as well. And then finally end of last year, I was playing Final Fantasy 16. And I needed that frame gen, so I picked up a 4090 finally. And I don't think I'm going to be upgrading for a while because the 50 series has actually a lot of issues. So works like champ. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I think it's because I have that giant monitor. I need a lot of power, so I kind of needed the 4090. All right, let's see here. All right, so we're gonna crap on women chat.
What do young women even do anymore?
Influencers record a day in the life. They usually pick their busiest day to show you exactly what they're doing.
So let me do exactly that. Welcome to a day in my life.
I can already tell you 2 reasons why she's an influencer, chat. And they have nothing to do with her actual content.
Do they all talk like this where the words run into one another?
Day in the life as a girl who's always on the move in New York City. We're back at it with another self-care day. And let me tell you, this was
What does it say about the sorry state of shortening attention spans caused by TikTok? It's also really fucking annoying.
new thing. Started my day with my usual
He's right about that. This is like ADHD speak. There's no pauses. You can't even stop to digest what she's saying. She just like spews words at you.
usual cold brew with oat milk. And then the weather.
I mean, I know I do jump cuts, but Jesus Christ.
Started off the morning with some morning sunshine, got a little
Dystopian hellhole.
Bloom energy drink in me, and then headed over to Hot Pilates. I go to practice room, my favorite studio. I go almost every single day. I have to work out in the morning. It has to be part of my routine. I don't like feel right if I don't.
Good God, this is insufferable.
So usually I do run, practice room, or lift weights in the morning. I also didn't really record this class because I feel bad recording in studios. Like people pay for this, I don't want to.
Fairly good look.
I didn't want to record this class, yet she recorded the class.
But by no means the most attractive woman on the planet, though I can think of 2 reasons why she's popular.
Yeah, so he said the same thing I did.
And I immediately went to go get a post-workout smoothie, protein shake, so good.
As ever, literally half the day is just consume, consume, consume.
Then I had therapy for an hour. Yes, hot girls do go to therapy.
A friend.
Therapy. This is like a white girl stereotype. Does she have a dog and peanut butter?
Yet vacuous, childless existence based around rampant materialism, an atomized city girl living in a pod, taking pictures of her own bobs and pretending it's a real job. Yeah, I can see why she's in therapy.
I had to get ready really quickly because I booked a studio on Pier Space in Brooklyn, so I had to go grab a matcha.
More beverages.
Honestly, I don't usually go to Blank Space. What? Blank Space? Okay, Taylor Swift. Blank Street. But, like, it was just right next to the subway. Like, I don't really like it that much, I'm gonna be honest. The studio, I was going to shoot for one brand, but then I found out I had to actually shoot for 2 brands, so I was trying to like game plan because I only had 2 hours in the studio, and if I stayed over, then I get to pay overtime. So I kind of just was being sporadic for 2 hours. I blacked out. I don't really remember what I did.
Wait, what?
I blacked out.
What? So what? What is this girl's? What is her job? Is she like a model or something? But it seems like she's shooting her own photos. I don't. Why are people paying? Why is anybody paying her money? She doesn't earn money. She goes to adult daycare. No, I don't think she has a real job. That's the thing. I don't think she even has a real job. Wait, she blacked out? Yeah. Yeah, that's what she's saying. She just, like, forgot everything she did, I guess.
I don't really remember what I did.
Oh, I'm sure it was vital work.
And then left, went to sushi counter immediately because I was starving. I'm regular there, but you would never know because I don't have my punch card ever, so I'm never getting put on the damn wall.
Consume.
All their coffee.
You're telling me she's telling me she has this, like, giant purse
on the damn wall.
Consume.
Hang on, let me find it.
Punch card ever, so I'm never getting put on the damn wall.
You can see in the reflection she has like multiple bags. That's probably a shopping bag, but she has like a big purse there. Just keep the punch card in your purse, woman. How is this why is this a thing you're complaining about? What is wrong with you?
Wall.
Consume.
All their coffee shop because oh my god, how many drinks can Izzy have in one day? I don't know.
Consume.
Don't stay home at all during the work week. I just like to be out of the house at all times, so I always do my editing out of the house.
No surprise when you live in an urban pod.
Then I realized it was 7 p.m. because the coffee shop it closed. So I went to go grab some groceries, came home. I made this little like watermelon salad situation.
Watermelon salad situation. Watermelon salad situation.
Can you really eat salad as a meal? I mean, you gotta have some kind of like protein and at least some protein, because that's just like all the vegetables. Hey, look, chat. I will tell you right now, you can eat all the vegetables you want. They're not gonna keep you full. Like literally, the other day on Tuesday when I was on Neo's channel, I had dinner. I was telling Neo and the guys about it. Like I ate. It was a grilled chicken, rice, and then like a pound of vegetables. And I was hungry again, and like, when I say vegetables, I mean like, you know, broccoli and, no, what else? It was like the Asian style vegetables, like broccoli and carrots and crap like that. You know, the stuff you get in like Asian stir fry. And I was hungry again in like an hour. Then yesterday, I had the same thing, virtually, you know, grilled chicken, rice. But this time, instead of the vegetables, I just had a baked potato. I baked a potato in the air fryer. By the way, if you want to do that, quick life hack. When you, instead of just sticking your potato in the oven or the air fryer, stick it in the microwave for like 5 minutes first, and then bake it in the air fryer for about 10 minutes. You'll save, instead of baking it in the oven for 40 minutes, so much faster. And I was full for like 5 or 6 hours. So yeah, vegetables are not going to keep you, like those green vegetables do not keep you full. So I don't know what these people are eating. I don't know what is wrong with these city people.
And then was editing, and then Love Island Reunion turned on. And I was like...
Okay, seriously, that does not look filling.
Was editing, and then Love Island Reunion...
Does this look like something that would fill you up, chat? Because I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Union turned on, and I was like,
Consume.
I gotta watch. It was kind of bad, though.
Of course, she's watching a stereotypical white girl show. Well, no, exactly, Fractured. Exactly. For like an hour? Well, yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Like, it'll fill you up just like by putting something in your stomach, but it's not gonna like keep you full afterward. And of course, she's watching some stereotypical...
I gotta watch. It was kind of bad, though.
She's watching whatever the TV reality dating show crap is that they all watch. What is wrong with these people? Exactly, Fallen Angel. I work out 4 times a week. I need the protein. I need my protein.
Though I'm not gonna.
Good God, that was exhausting. And it wasn't a one-off. All her videos are like this.
I quit my job and moved to New York City on a whim. Let me show you how it's been going.
Hi, my name's Izzy. I moved to New York a few months ago from Florida to pursue content creation full-time and just...
Oh, man. This is painful. So she moved to become a full-time influencer. Why would you move to New York? Like, I guess that kind of tells you the mentality of these women. Like, if I were in Florida, I would want to stay in Florida. Like I personally, where I live in the Midwest, I want to move to Florida. Learn the most fulfilling meals you've had have been all meat meals since you backslid and whatnot, other things or something. Yeah, protein is very filling. And it seems like it seems somehow, I can't explain it, but it seems like the potato is like one of the most filling non-meat foods out there. So, why would you move to New York from Florida? Exactly, Neo. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you... Why? What is wrong with these people? Pursue content creation full-time. Yeah, exactly. And apparently it's working for her somehow. Yeah, you go to the most expensive place in the U.S. to be a full-time influencer. Are you retarded? Yes. Well, she's a woman, Fractured. She's a woman, so, yeah.
I'm retarded?
You know, I really need a female avatar. Just so I can use it for this clip. Alright, I forget these things sometimes, yeah. What the hell? Yeah, exactly. Meat and fat. Yeah, a bit of fat is good. You got to be careful with the fat because... so what I've learned is that... so protein and carbs of the macros, those are each, I think, 5 calories per gram. Whereas fat is 9 calories per gram. And on top of that, there's the thermic effect of food. So when you eat protein, I think 30% of the energy in the protein goes to digesting said protein. And that number is significantly lower for fat and for carbs. So, yeah, that's why you want to eat a lot of protein, because it helps you... it helps keep the calories down, basically. But yeah, a little bit of fat is good. You don't want to cut fat out entirely.
I just recently started a small business. This day off of the 4.5-mile walk because it was just too nice out.
I wonder what her small business is. That means don't drink soda with your fatty steak. I mean, don't drink like a sugared soda. Like if you want to drink, I switched to diet soda, and that has helped me a lot. So that's what I would do if you really like soda, because I really like soda. I don't drink alcohol, but I love soda. So switched to the diet ones, and some of them are actually pretty good. The hard part for me was just finding diet sodas that actually tasted good. So, you know, my recommendation if you're looking for something is try Baja Blast Zero, because that tastes, in my opinion, it tastes better than Baja Blast. I really wish they made a Mountain Dew Voltage in diet, but they don't. Sounds like cup. Well, I can't quit everything. Again, I don't drink alcohol, so, you know, I gotta have something.
Too nice out to go to the gym. And yes, 55 and sunny is nice for New York. I FaceTime my friend Al.
Okay. 50. If someone says 55 is nice, that is not a place I want to live in. 55 Fahrenheit is freezing.
For like an hour on the walk.
I don't know what's more soul-destroyingly pointless. All those female HR daycare jobs or this. She worked for a total of 2 hours, blacked out and didn't even remember it. What a meaningful job that must be. Female city lifestyle equals inane materialistic.
Yeah, why would you want to live in the city? Like, did any of that sell you on wanting to live in the city? Especially coming from Florida, 58 is freezing? Yeah. No, dude, I live in the Midwest where, like, we frequently hit 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And even for me, when it hits, like, mid-50s, I'm already freezing. HR daycare jobs? No, that's the thing, Fallen Angel. This isn't even an HR daycare job. Like, he's talking about these women like this in general. But this isn't even that. This is something worse. But yeah, did a single thing in there make you want to live in the city? Because everything I saw just looked practically dystopian. At best.
Hell. I was having fun until I turned the volume on. Material.
Wait.
City lifestyle equals inane materialistic hell. I was having fun until I turned the volume on.
I was having fun until I turned the volume on. Chad, that's amazing. That's hilarious. Because, I mean, you know, I can see why. I can see why he was having fun until he turned the volume on. I can see 2 reasons he was having fun until he turned the volume on. You should come to Chile. We have from the driest desert in the world down to Antarctica. We have all the climates. Just pick your favorite. Well, I mean, I'd probably just like to live somewhere like Florida. You know, a little bit humid, warm. Really about it. Also, what are Fallen Angel? What are your Second Amendment rights like down in Chile? Because I don't know if you have the freedom to own guns. Also, I don't know if you guys have free speech down there either. I don't know that much about Chile.
Materialism maxing, no concept of introspection, no thinking about meaning of life, no questions like this is just food or drinks, is it wise to be spending so much time on these? TikTok's absolutely saturated with these food or drinks, is it wise to be...
I think it's actually really funny to see this say, these women are the backbone of the NYC retail economy. He didn't read that, but that's like, you know, what this tweet says down here. I assume that this is an insult. I can't say for sure because I don't know who this Lindy person is. But, like, I mean, it should be an insult. Because, yeah, New York City kind of deserves to collapse. I'm just saying.
To be spending so much time on these. TikTok's absolutely saturated with these vapid day in the life of a city girl videos. Believe it or not, millions of them aspire to this, and we wonder why fertility rates for white women in the US are plummeting.
You know, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you can't get pregnant from a dog. Well, it's a good thing human women can't get pregnant from dogs.
But some would accuse me of overthinking all this. I've seen like 10 think pieces on here about this stupid video. Holy shit, no wonder you're all incels. Look at her ginormous cans, for God's sake. Who actually cares what she's doing? But after her video went viral on X, the influencer clapped.
I thought he was going to zoom in on something else, chat. He was zooming in on the view count, I thought he was zooming in on something else.
Sake, who actually cares what she's doing? But after her video went viral,
Because it looks like he's zooming in. You can tell where it looks like he's zooming in.
on X,
See, like I thought he was zooming in here, but he's actually zooming in at the view count down there.
the influencer clapped back on the haters.
Seems like I'm going viral on Twitter, and I'm not even going to share what it is or show the comments because I don't want to give more attention to the matter.
Asserting that she was definitely contributing way more to the world than just a nice set of cans.
I am more than just my body. They made comments about like me having a man face and a man voice and like that mental equalities, like my boobs. Like they're always going to say that kind of stuff. But
I mean, I don't think she's mannish. I'd give her like a 6, probably Fallen Angel. I don't know. My standards are low, but you know, she seems fine visually. But like, I'm not gonna defend her video. Like that last thing she said right there.
like they're always going to say that kind of stuff, but I know that's not true.
And that you're basic.
Look at her face. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could say 5.
Like my boobs. Like they're always going to say that kind of
Yeah, they're boobs. That's it. That is the reason she's popular, though.
equalities, like my boobs. Like they're always
Yes, that is why you're popular. I'm pretty sure that is the only reason you're popular.
gonna say that kind of stuff, but I know that's not true.
And that you're basically an incel for suggesting other
5 means average, 6 means... Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, again, my standards are low. He's not cute. I don't know. She kind of is, but... She also has the vocal fry, which is kind of off-putting.
Gonna say that kind of stuff, but I know that's not true.
And that you're basically an incel for suggesting otherwise.
You should never take criticism from someone that is doing less than you. These are just low lives.
Exactly how could someone be doing less than her? She knows why she's popular, she's just lying, and yeah, she's a 5. No. Well, I agree with you on... Yeah. At the very least, yeah, I agree with you. She knows why she's popular, she's just lying, oh yeah. Well, like, how... She's never take criticism from people doing less than you. Okay. You prefer them bigger... Fallen Angel. I don't... I think these are already at my limit. Any bigger, and they're just gonna get saggy. As you know, I prefer small, but like, yeah, what she says here.
You should never take criticism from someone that is doing less than you. These are
Okay, never take criticism from someone doing less than you. You heard that, right? How on earth could like 99% of the people criticizing her be doing less than her? She basically does nothing. She doesn't have a real job. Her job is not a real job. She just goes and does these weird photo shoots, apparently, and somehow gets paid for it. And it's like, what is that? It's not possible. If anything, most people criticizing her probably have real jobs and actually contribute something to society other than pictures of themselves. Sorry, what? Yeah. Wonder why. I see you posted a second message, but for some reason it's not coming through. Chat. I wonder what... Oh, that's weird. Fallen Angel, I see you posted a couple other comments. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing all your comments, Fallen Angel. It should. But yeah, what you were saying is... No, even so, it should be pulling in the live chat, because I pull it into live chat. What might be happening is you're getting filtered out. Yeah, you're getting filtered out to top chat. But I have it set so it should go to live chat. Yeah, for some reason. Oh, I think the URL. That might be why. I mean, you can type whatever you want. I think what's happening is that for some reason the top chat and live chat URLs are the same now. And so, for whatever reason, anything in live chat in social stream, or anything that's not in top chat in social stream is getting filtered out by YouTube's own filters. Very annoying. Well, that worked. It's in the, huh. Weird. Yeah. Yeah, I went through. Well, it's not in the top chat. So, Fallen Angel, if you, on your end, if you close and reopen the chat, you won't see it under top chat. So, I don't know. Maybe I just had to, like, go in and switch to live chat in just, like, the little preview window. Weird. Yeah. I see it. I see it just fine. Yeah, that is so weird. Well, yeah, if you delete it, then it'll get deleted from social stream. But yeah, I did see what you were saying, though. G's a double D or maybe an E on a good day. Cup size, you mean? But yeah, I mean, those are already big, in my opinion. Reasonably big. Yeah. Yeah, I see just fine. Yeah, I think maybe I just had to go in and modify the preview. Yeah, I think we're still not live on Rumble, but weird. Anyway. So, yeah, I think she's about as big as I would want. Anything bigger and it would just be too saggy. But yeah, like, how on earth is anybody doing less than her? How is that even possible?
You should never take criticism from someone that is doing less than you. These are just...
There are very few people who are doing less than she is.
There's low lives, they're in their parents' basement, like whatever. And you have to wonder, like, what makes...
Oh, living in their parents' basement, okay. You mean like most people who are struggling financially now?
Someone so miserable that they're okay to leave such hateful words on other people's content.
I don't know what's more depressing. The life of a big city influencer girl or a big city corporate wagey girl.
Now we're getting into the HR daycare. 30-something working in London. Oh, great. I think the size depends on the woman. For instance, that size doesn't look good on her. I think a C might be your sweet spot. Maybe. Maybe. I also like petite women, so I guess that makes sense.
Wow, she looks happy. Lives in a pod, works in a pod.
You will live in the pod. You will eat the bugs. You will own nothing. And you will be happy. Or else. So this is what it's like working in an office, chat. They drag you into an office, you can't accomplish anything. Because it's just too loud, you can't do anything. And if you actually want to do any kind of real work, you have to go into a pod. You get stuck in a pod. In other words, you might as well have just stayed home. There's no reason to go to an office. Pod of white supremacy, oh. If only. If only it were that easy. It's more like a pod of, why am I even here?
Then look at the NPCs in the comments. I wish I lived and worked in London.
What is wrong with women, chat? Why would you want to live in a city?
Looks great. It really fucking doesn't. I love the pod at 1 PM. I use something similar. Jesus wept. Get in the pod, Wagey.
I also
So I had my first big day today in my London corporate girly job.
I'm sure this is going to be another crucial role.
I made my way into the office, which is in the centre of Oxford Circus, and they put this little spread on for breakfast.
I can't tell if this is the same girl that they showed earlier. I can't tell if these are the same girl, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm just racist or something. Or sexist, well, I don't know. But these seem like the same person. I can't tell. But to be honest, I kind of prefer the previous one because she wasn't talking.
London corporate girly job.
I'm sure this is going to be another crucial role.
I made my way into the office, which is in the centre of Oxford Circus, and they put this little spread on for breakfast, which is absolutely stunning. Met all the team in person. Oh my god, the team are incredible. The job's incredible. I'm beyond happy. I'm over the moon. We all headed out together to get our lunch.
Busy morning then.
We went to the salad project, which...
Yeah, one thing I have to say about this, you don't want to work with people like this, okay? They show up and they make your life harder. That, like, she's probably what, she's probably some kind of like project manager or something like that. And usually what ends up happening is they just make your job harder. Because they don't do real work. They just kind of show up and throw nonsense on your plate to pretend they're doing something. Are these women part of a psyop? These people do this idea? I don't know. I don't think that, if they are, I don't think they know it. I think what's probably going on is, that if they are, they're just being used unknowingly. Because they don't seem that bright, to be honest. You begin to understand women in general when you realize their reasoning and emotions are not tuned for big society, but for a compact, high-trust circle where her primary goal is social cohesion and keeping the infants safe until they can fend for themselves. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think most women should be working. They should be at home. I don't even think, like, men should really be working office jobs for the most part. I think people should be at home with their families. Because, I mean, especially, like, you think about it these days, your job is expected to be your entire life. And then they complain about, the birth rates. But it's like, when are you supposed to do any of this if you're stuck working? And on top of that, at work, it's now haram to talk to women. So, yeah, it's just not going to work. You've never worked somewhere that provides breakfast, especially not one like that? Yeah, some companies do, but I know they've been cutting back in recent years, though. Like, Google used to do all of that stuff. But, also, did they provide breakfast, or was that just like a group breakfast thing? Sorry, I'm going to replay this. I know, she's very annoying, but...
Made my way into the office, which is in the centre of Oxford Circus, and they put this little spread on for breakfast, which is absolutely stunning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did provide breakfast, didn't they? Huh. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've ever worked anywhere that provided breakfast, but some of these companies do. Yeah, but if you keep moving at home, the green arrow won't go up as fast. Think of the money and the resources we're wasting. We can always import migrants. We're all just interchangeable money units. Yeah. That is how they think. And that is... I saw a 4chan post about this a while ago. And yeah, that was the idea. That was the whole idea behind getting women in the workplace, was to drive down wages so they could increase profits. More workers, less profits. And now it's the same thing again with, migrants, whether it's illegal immigrants or H-1Bs or whatever it may be. They just want to flood the market with cheap labor so they can make more profits. I was going to say I worked at EA. Really, Fractured? Really? I'd love to hear more about that. Because I knew a guy in college who went on to work for EA, though I lost touch with him. They just had a big cafeteria area where you could get custom meals or menus, but you had to pay for it. Another place I worked at, cafeteria with a menu. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty standard at big companies, is where they just have like a cafeteria and you have to pay for your own stuff. Yeah, Google, I don't know if they still have it. They might have gotten rid of it the last couple of years, but at least what they used to do is they would they would provide free, free food. Like, they had a cafeteria, but the food was free. And the main point of that, the real reason of that, was to basically sort of keep you working there. Basically, all those comforts there were just to sort of make you want to stay there and keep working. Velvet sweatshops, they called it. Because it's kind of like a sweatshop, but it's like more comfort than it is just, pure sweatshop. By the way, follow jobs.now on X. They're taking the jobs from foreigners back to the Americans. Oh, is this the one that was listing like the H-1B perm visa thing? Where like if you apply to any of the listed jobs, then you take a job away from an H-1B.
Stunning. Met all the team in person. Oh my god, the team are incredible. The job's incredible. I'm beyond happy. I'm over the moon. We all headed out together to get our lunch.
Busy morning then.
We went to the salad project, which I've never tried or never heard of, but I think it's quite big in the London corporate scene. Anyway, I felt like I was living my big girl.
I hate salad. I hate these salads. Salads are for rich women on diets.
London life. Then we cheat.
The fact that there are entire restaurants dedicated to salad is, I think, a failure of our society.
Never heard of, but I think it's quite big in the London corporate scene. Anyway, I felt like I was living my big girl London life. Then we cheekily went to IKEA to shoot some content. Sorry, don't kill me. But this was super.
Shoot content in IKEA? What? What is this person's job?
Fun, and I really do love the girls that I'm working with. Did a little bit of shopping because I'm on Oxford Street, of course. And this is where it kind of...
So, you're working a job, and in the middle of the job, you just go off and do some shopping? I don't...
Shame on you.
When people ask me why I'm a level 99 misogynist, Exhibit A, yeah. Yep. Yep, exactly.
It kind of goes downhill because I had my first crush tube experience, which was an experience, and then I got no more videos after this because I got up there on the train because my rail card had expired, so I got home in a bit of a mood, but that was my day, and it was...
I can't even tell what she's babbling anymore. It was her first something experience, and then she got a fare on the train. I don't understand. She's just babbling.
And it was really good.
Okay, so did fuck all, went to IKEA, went shopping, and they get
It's just noise, exactly. Exactly.
paid for this. You know that?
Right.
Did fuck all, went to IKEA, went shopping, and they get paid for this.
I swear, chat, I should have been born a woman. Being born a man is like the worst thing you can do for your job.
You know that meme about female corporate jobs mainly revolving around sending pointless emails all day?
I'm convinced anyone could learn my job in one afternoon as an email marketing manager where I make $80,000 a year. I start off the day...
Yep. I should have been born a woman, chat. She makes $80,000 a year just sending emails. I can already tell that's her job. Her job probably doesn't even need to exist, but let's see.
The day checking my email, messages, and our project management tool for my daily tasks. 80% of my day is literally just building emails.
Not bad work if you can get it, but then she doesn't even write the emails.
I don't write them, strategize, decide when to send or who to send them to. I receive a brief like this with all the content and the email logic, and I literally copy and paste it into our email builder in Salesforce. The marketing email ends up looking something like this.
80K.
But I'm the one with white privilege. What the... Yeah, well, I think they would say male privilege, right? But her entire job, for which she makes $80,000 a year, is to copy and paste things she gets sent via email into Salesforce. I could do her job. No, I could automate away her job. No AI needed. Literally just script her job. Write some kind of script to do her job. And her job should not exist. Like, literally, this is something that people should be doing by themselves. Yeah, this is not a real job. This is not a real job. This is, and I don't think it's just daycare. I think it is literally a way to give privilege to women. I just can't think of another explanation for it that makes any sense. These jobs are literally a way to give women money. Just give money to women so that they can go out and pretend to be strong and empowered. Because this is not a real job. This is not a job that needs to exist. By the way, have you tried 5-day fasting? Might be good for you unless you have health issues. You need electrolytes, a couple of supplements, but it could be good if you're curious. I've thought about that. Problem is I get too hungry. I just get way too hungry way too fast.
Hey, for that.
It's a big company, so my role is very specialized compared to other email jobs I've had.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it requires a stunning level of skill and talent.
On average, I send like 7 to 20 emails per day.
As little as 7 emails a day, which she doesn't even have to write, for 80k.
I really enjoy it because my workday is very organized.
Goes away after day 2. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could live like that for 2 days even. I'm weak. I'm weak, Chad. But so this girl is clearly working from home. She gets to work from home, doing a fake nonsense job, making 80k a year. Meanwhile, if I want to work a job, they're going to demand I go into their stupid office to accomplish nothing, and I have to do real work. Like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this?
Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow?
I don't know why, that just felt appropriate. Oshi is not weak. Oh man, if I'm your Oshi, you're in trouble, fallen angel.
Predictable.
Oh yes, nothing like the inspiring, life-affirming cut and thrust of predictability.
Oh yeah, and I only have like 3 meetings a week. Yay, I no longer hate my life.
Big
3 meetings a week? I mean, look, 80k, especially if you live in the city, is not that much. But, I mean, come on, that is like a dream job. You sit at home all day doing next to nothing but copying and pasting emails into Salesforce. And you only have 3 meetings a week? I had like multiple meetings every single day. Every day, chat. And they were torture. And literally everything about the typical office job is designed to keep people who do work from doing their work. Literally everything. The office, the meetings, just everything. Everything prevents you from doing your actual work. And this girl doesn't do real work. And yet she has like 3 meetings a week. Doesn't have to go to the office. I swear. It's maddening. That was appropriate. Well, good. I'm glad it resonated. 7 mails a day can be auto-delivered by an AI agent? No, you don't need AI. Like I was saying, you don't even need any kind of AI for this. You can literally just script this away with, or a bot. Yeah, you can literally just write some software to script this away, and knowing Salesforce, because like they have their own software platform, you could probably write something in their weird Java knockoff backend that would just send these emails for you. Like people could literally just go send their email content, and then just have that filtered, sent through Salesforce. There is no reason this woman's job should exist. It's also tiresome. Yep. Well, Fallen Angel, JSON is a script. JSON is just a notation. I get where you're going with it, but yeah, it wouldn't be JSON. It would be like probably Java. It's probably what it would end up being because it's Salesforce.
Big doubt. And she didn't even have to study marketing.
Did you major in marketing or have another degree? I majored in sociology and business with a minor in digital arts comms, so it's semi-related. Good God. I went through a brutal 4-year computer science degree, and she just did like a party degree. Swear. Write one and send it to? Okay, well, I mean, you can't write scripts in JSON, but yeah, you could do. There are a lot of different ways to do it, though.
Marketing to get the job. No wonder they call it female adult daycare. Day in my life. Corporate girl working in London City. Arrives at work, drinks coffee, buys lunch, eats lunch, drinks coffee, leaves work, goes shopping, goes home. Right, so where was the work? This is what young women are doing now they're no longer having kids.
None of this makes me want to live in the Bug Hive chat.
A really vital and meaningful existence, I'm sure you'll agree. Gen Z females really are totally screwed, aren't they?
Whoa, hold on.
Aren't they? Kids. A really vital and meaningful existence, I'm sure you'll agree. Gen Z females really are totally screwed, aren't they?
Gen Z females are screwed? No. They're all strong and powerful. No, it's the men who are screwed. Because these strong, powerful women, you know, the guys aren't going to be able to find. They're not going to be able to find wives, as I can attest to. I'm not quite Gen Z, but you know, as I can attest, you're not going to find wives because all the women are like this. They're all strong and powerful. YouTube censored your comment. You said technically you do need a JavaScript to actually do censored word to JSON. Huh. Yeah. So JSON is a JavaScript object notation. So yeah. But yeah, it's not. It's not that the women are in trouble, it's that the women are such a mess that, you know, the rest of us are in trouble. But execute? That's the word they censored? Huh. Yeah, YouTube censorship is ridiculous. It's getting to a weird point. Whew. But yeah, so that is another women being women situation. So next up, we're gonna get to the topic that pretty much derailed this week's stream entirely. And that is something I have to talk about here. So as you probably have heard, my Oshi, Alex Jones, just got dumped by his protege, Owen Schroyer. And they both did streams about this. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's a lot. This is like a 5-hour stream.
Ladies and gentlemen.
But we'll run through... Yeah, this is like a 5-hour stream, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I figured we would react to a little bit of this and then go through Alex's response, which, again, it's a 4-hour... Alex's show is 4 hours long, so we're not going to go through the whole thing. But we'll look at Alex's response. His initial response, because Alex has not stopped talking about it for the last few days. Because, so Alex had that initial rant, but then, like, every stream he brings it up, like, 2 or 3 times again. So, yeah, we'll run through this. Have you checked out Homath? Yeah, I'm familiar with Homath. I've seen some of his stuff. It's very blackpilling. Yeah, write his name either. Yeah, I'm not shocked. Fancy's got a gold microphone. Yeah, yeah, he's got his own set. Oh, jeez. I wonder why Rumble's UI has been so weird.
Blessed for my time at InfoWars. And I'm sorry that it had to end so abruptly, if you want to say that. But about an hour...
By the way, let me know if you guys can hear him okay. He's pretty quiet.
Here, Owen Schroyer Live, episode 115. Why I am done at InfoWars. Now, there's a reason why I'm doing this tonight. There's a reason why I have to do this tonight, and I'm going to explain it all.
Does that help?
Because that's what you deserve as my audience, as people who have financially supported me over the years. You have prayed for me, as people that sent me letters when I was in prison. Just all of it. You know, I'm grateful for my audience. I consider myself extremely blessed. And quite frankly, I consider myself extremely blessed for my time at InfoWars. And I'm sorry that it had to end so abruptly, if you want to say that. But about an hour ago, I got off the phone with Alex, and that was it. That was it. So I owe it to you. I feel I owe it to you, the audience, to explain what went wrong.
I'm just playing it at 1.5 speed because we're only going to watch like the first maybe half hour or so, but, you know, I don't want this to drag on.
And why I decided to leave and how that went down. And just to be perfectly clear, this is not how I wanted it to be. I want to be perfectly clear about something, and I'll explain this in a little more detail. I did not want it to go this way, okay? I tried everything. I tried everything so that it wouldn't go this way. But I am left with no choice but to come on here tonight and make the announcement.
Do you have the clip of Jones talking about sucking ding dong for defeating globalists? No one just looking with this weird face. No, I don't think I've seen that clip, but I do remember it wasn't that long ago where Alex was on Owen's show, and they were both doing like their demon impressions, and it was actually very entertaining. They're both going, yeah, yeah, you know. It was very, very entertaining.
Just so you understand, and then I'll kind of give a little bit more detail. You may have noticed I've been taking a lot more time off. Specifically, you may have noticed how on Thursday, I walked off the show mid-show. It was about an hour into the show. And just so you understand what happened, and if you watch the InfoWars War Room, you've seen this before, so it's not like it's anything new, but, you know, Alex was disrupting the show, and he wanted me to cover something, and he wanted me to get a guest on. I'm in the middle of the show while it's going on, as you see so many times, and it just didn't go well. I kind of just reached my point of no return, and so I just walked off the studio. Now, I will say, it was a little upsetting to me that he went on and said that I had a family emergency. I did not have a family emergency. There was no family emergency. I didn't appreciate people reaching out to me thinking that something bad had happened, including my own parents.
So basically, it sounds like Owen just got fed up with Alex interrupting his stream a lot, which did tend to happen. Alex Jones did have a habit of either jumping onto Owen's streams or, you know, doing stuff to Owen's stream, or like interrupting his stream, basically. So, you know, I understand him getting annoyed by that.
So there was no family emergency. I walked off the show. I've never done that before in my life. And that's not how I operate. That's not who I am. But I felt powerless in that moment, and the only power I had was just to walk off, because I couldn't do another thing like it was 2 or 3 weeks ago when I came back and did that comedy bit. I couldn't do another thing where I just say, oh, go to rebroadcast. It was whatever. So no, I walked off the show on Thursday. Now, my intention was to go back this week, and I made that intention perfectly clear to Alex an hour ago. Now, I wanted to meet with Alex in the office tomorrow, and I told him that. I told him that last week after I left the studio. He texted me, and I said, Alex, let's talk next week. I said, I don't want to talk about it now. I'm done for the week. Let's talk next week. We communicated a little over the weekend, and then today I said, let's meet. Let's have a meeting tomorrow before your show, whenever you want. Let's meet tomorrow before your show.
This video is from Monday, by the way. Just so you're clear.
Show, and maybe we can talk this out, work it out. And he said, no, let's just talk now. And so he called me.
You have the clip of Jones talking about not kissing goblins and in bed with the goblins. No, I don't actually have any clips of Alex Jones. Probably should. I should probably find one or two, but no, I don't actually have any clips of him. Yeah, I probably should have some clips, but yeah, that's something I haven't clipped. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you take him out of context, the stuff he says can be really hilarious.
Now, my intentions, and I told him this, I wanted to go in this week. I wanted to go in tomorrow. And I wanted to finish this week, and I wanted to finish positively at InfoWars.
On YouTube.
And, you know, I even said if he wanted me to kind of stick around like a satellite to go down with the ship, that I'd be willing to play some sort of a satellite role to go down with the ship and be a part of that and continue, you know, wearing the name on the front of the jersey for at least some semblance while it's still ongoing. And he didn't express any interest in that. And so he told me that he didn't need me and good luck. And that was that.
So basically, Owen is saying, he said he was telling Alex on Monday, you know, I'm leaving, but I want to stick around for this last week. And maybe make some, you know, small appearances here and there afterward, just to like show support. And he's saying that Alex told him, no, just no, don't come back. We're done with you.
That was that. So I wanted to make this announcement on InfoWars. I wanted to make this announcement with Alex. That actually meant a lot to me. That's what I wanted. I wanted to leave in a very positive fashion. I wanted to announce it to the InfoWars audience on the InfoWars airwaves. I wanted Alex and the crew and everybody to be there, and I wanted to shake Alex's hand. I wanted to thank him for everything. I wanted to just go down memory lane of all the things that we've done. But he wasn't interested in that. And he said, don't come in this week. So that was that. So now here I am.
And that makes sense, right? Because Owen was a huge, huge part of InfoWars. Like, when I first heard about this, and especially, like, how negative it was, my first thought was actually that episode of Batman the Animated Series where they show Robin quitting to become Nightwing. Because, I mean, really, from the outside, it always looked to me like, you know, Alex Jones and Owen Schroyer were like Batman and Robin. Like, they were, you know, a dynamic duo. But sounds like that maybe wasn't the case on the inside.
Here I am announcing that it's done. I will not be on InfoWars. I don't know if ever again. Won't be hosting the War Room this week. And I don't really know what else there is to say about that. Other than it's not how I wanted it to be, but I was left with no choice. I was left with no choice. Now, I don't know how Alex wants to handle it. Honestly, I hope that he just doesn't talk about it at all.
Oh, that one didn't work. That one didn't age so well. Because if there's one thing Alex does, it's talk about things. A lot. Bill Hicks came very far. What does Bill Hicks look like? I don't actually know what Bill Hicks looks like. I've heard the joke. Oh, yeah, I can see it. I can see the resemblance. Yeah, I can kind of see the resemblance. They don't really look alike anymore, though. But yeah, like Alex and his, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, yeah, there was definitely a strong resemblance there.
And people might view that as like a bad thing or a negative thing. I don't think so. It's if he wants to just sever ties and just move on like that, I have no problem with it. So I don't you know, I hope he doesn't make a thing of it. I hope he's fine. He can bring in whoever he wants to host it or shut it down. I don't really care.
Listen to his voice.
You know, I don't have anything negative to say about Alex. This is not what this is about. I have nothing but respect and appreciation for Alex.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, sure. Audio.
I am beginning to believe in a palpable evil on this planet right now. In fact, I believe there is an Antichrist. In fact... Lady... Not me? So you can get drunk and ruin other people's nights? Is that how it works, America?
I can kind of hear it, but he's not as like gruff as Alex is.
And everything that we've done at InfoWars, I'm not sure that was mutual, but it doesn't really matter. But you know, kind of to give you the longer form situation, you probably noticed that I had not been hosting the War Room a lot this month. And, you know, Alex had been coming into my show and talking about how I'm negative and calling me a pessimist and all this other stuff, which is fine. You work for Alex, you're going to get hit with it a lot. Alex is not easy to work for, and that's fine. You know, that's okay. But, okay, he says I'm too negative. He says I'm a pessimist, whatever. I'm too anti-Trump. So I just said, all right, you know what? I'll just take some time off. I'll just disappear. And if Alex thinks I'm too negative, then maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm too negative now. Maybe I'm too much of a pessimist now. Maybe I'm too anti-Trump now. Whatever his issue was, when he kept coming in the show telling me I'm too negative, saying I'm a pessimist on his show, I said, okay, maybe he's right. I'll take some time off. I'll blow off some steam. I'll just get out of the ring for a week. And, you know, maybe I'll come back a little more positive. And you know, maybe there was a level of reality to that. And I think I did come back more positive. But the same issues that I had started up immediately as soon as I came back. And it's not to say that I didn't have creative control over the InfoWars War Room. But, I mean, imagine it's like somebody staring over your back 24/7. And so every single day that I came back, it was either a guest that I was told I had on at the last minute, or it was, you know, him coming into the studio. He wants me to cover this. He wants me to cover that. Or I have to host his show for him because he's not in. So there's nothing consistent for me. I couldn't do what I wanted to do, which I'll explain what I want to do in a second here. So whatever. So I'm going through it again last week, and then Wednesday last week happens. And this is really where I think for me it was like, okay, if this is how it's going to go, really what happened Wednesday and Thursday. So Wednesday.
So what he's saying about the creative control, it sounds like he isn't outright being censored by Alex, but he feels very pressured to present things in a certain way. At least that's what I'm taking from this. Is that even though Alex wasn't trying to censor him, and I don't think Alex did want to censor him or anything like that, but the way, just the way things were going, he felt pressured to speak or act in a certain way. Yeah. Oh, just wait until you see Alex's response.
Wednesday was the school shooting. And
yeah,
we get the exclusive
yep.
with Pal Seraphin from his Fed source at about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Now, we get this information. We have the images. We have the name. The crew has already archived all of the online content, the manifestos, the videos. So, I mean, we got it. We got it. Now, I was supposed to host the show, but obviously we get this exclusive. So Alex wanted to host the show. So I'm like, okay, well, great. All right, so let's do this. So it's like, here we go. I'm riding with Alex again, folks. We're firing up the Millennium Falcon again. We're going.
Yep. Lots of last-minute adjustments, last-minute interruptions, things like that. And yeah, Alex was frequently popping in. And like he's saying right now, Alex was frequently popping in and making changes like that. So.
Going into the InfoWar, we're taking out a Death Star again. And I know that this is hard for people to understand from the outside looking in. And I don't say that from an arrogant standpoint. I'm just trying to explain to you what it's like here. So when he's coming on Wednesday, the Jones show that I'm hosting, and he's like, we got the exclusive, we're going to break this. Everyone knows we're going to get burned. Okay? I mean, I don't know about Kyle. He's still kind of relatively new to the media, but he's a Fed, so he's a tough guy. He wears big boy pants. But everybody in InfoWars knew, oh, here's a school shooting. We've got the exclusive. We're going to destroy the cover-up. Like, everyone knew we were going to get burned. Everybody knew we were going to get burned for this. And I said, all right, Alex, I'm going into the fire again with you. Let's do it. So we did it. We did it. We broke the big exclusive. It's very likely that if it wasn't for us that day, you never heard about the trans shooter. You never saw the videos, the manifesto, or any of it. It's very likely that that's the case. But we knew we would get burned. We've been down this road before.
Makes sense. Yeah, the media is not going to report on the transgender part of it, at the very least.
Or, especially on that issue, you're guaranteed you're getting burned. You're either getting sued, or you're getting censored, or you're getting the negative headline. So, before the show is even over, there's multiple headlines printed up. Owen Schroyer celebrates mass shooting. Owen Schroyer celebrates dead kids. I might get to that later on. Whatever, it's par for the course. So there you go. So I got burned. So I rode into the fire on Wednesday. We broke the big exclusive. I fired up, and I got in the co-pilot seat of the Millennium Falcon with Alex Jones for one more ride, knowing I was going to get shot out of the sky, knowing I was going to get burned. But hey, all right, it's the InfoWar. I said, all right, Alex, you want me? Let's go. Let's do it. And we did it. And we fucking did it. And then I get the negative headlines. Okay, fine. I anticipated that. And then the next day, I have to deal with the same stuff of him breaking into the show. He's on a speakerphone, and he's asked the crew to bring him in. It's just a cluster. It's just a cluster bomb. So I had prepared a 3-hour show. I thought since we just did what we did the day before that I could do a 3-hour show, and babysitter wouldn't be looking over my shoulder. I was wrong. It happened, and I just said, I'm out. I'm just done. So if you don't want me to do the show, you can do it. And I think he ended up hosting the rest of the show. I don't even know if I want to get any more details with that. But, so that was it. So I walked off the show Thursday. I didn't appreciate him saying I had a family emergency because I didn't. So I had a lot of people freaking out, messaging me about that. There's no family emergency.
So pay attention to that, the family emergency bit, because Alex Jones completely contradicts that, which is one of the interesting bits of all this.
See? Just a lie. So whatever. So, okay. Whatever. It happens. I've got a big ego. I'm a stubborn personality, and so is he. It's Alex Jones. So, okay. So again, I just walk off. I don't make a big thing of it. I don't say anything negative. I don't say he made up the family emergency. I don't say anything because I wanted to do this right. So I said, Alex, I'm done this week. Let's just sit down and let's have a meeting on Tuesday next week. Let's just get this right. So I talked to him again today. Doesn't want to have the meeting tomorrow. I wanted to go into InfoWars, have the meeting. I intended on going into work. Instead, we have a conversation over the phone. I just kind of lay out my side of things. He lays out his side of things, and he says, I believe the exact quote was, okay, we don't need you. Good luck. So he said, I'm not going to stop you from leaving. I said, Alex, I want to do it right. I want to do it on your airwaves. I want to come in this week. I want to announce it. Like, I want it to all be positive. Like, I don't want this to turn into a negative thing. And he just said, nope, don't worry about it. Don't come in. Good luck. You know, you can do your own thing. So, okay.
On some level like that kind of checks out because it sounds like something you'd say when you're very hot-headed in the heat of the moment. And if there's one thing we know about Alex Jones, something that even he's very open about himself, Alex Jones is very hot-headed. So it sounds like something he would do in the heat of the moment.
So that's how it went. Now, that's it as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not going to be going back in. I'm not going to be hosting the War Room. He could have easily had me in to announce it on his show. I would have been happy. I would have been more than happy to do it. Again, that's what I wanted. It meant a lot to me, folks. I didn't want to be doing it this way. Anybody who's followed my career in media knows I don't do the drama stuff. I don't do the drama stuff. I don't do the, hey, look over here at this personal beef. I don't do that stuff. I get along with everybody. But I've been left no choice. I had to do this tonight. So, again, just to be clear, I intended to go into InfoWars this week and finish out the week and make...
Yeah. You have to be a man and not a kid in these situations. You can't let one bad thing ruin hundreds of good things you two have done. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll get into it a little more later, but it's a little bit difficult to tell, who's being totally honest in this situation. And who's really being the adult in this situation? Because on its face, yeah, it seems like Alex is the one being very, I guess, childish, if you want to use that term. But, when we go through Alex's rant a little later, things start to get a little messier.
Make the announcement on InfoWars with Alex. That meant a lot to me. But he told me he wasn't interested. He didn't want to do it. He said, we don't need you. So that's it. So, as far as the future of me and Alex on air together, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any personal animosity towards Alex. We've had professional issues over the years. But you have to understand, Alex has been a big inspiration for me, and he gave me my first big break in political media. I'll always be respectful and appreciative of that. And so that's why it meant a lot to me to do this on InfoWars and to do this in a positive way and to shake his hand on the air. And for him to say, thank you, great work. And for me to say, thank you, I appreciate everything. And to shake his hand and do it in front of the InfoWars audience and crew and leave on a positive note. But he didn't want to do that. He said he didn't want to do that. So now I have to do this here tonight. Now, I have to say, too, just so people might get a better understanding, I feel like Wednesday was kind of our last dance. And if you've seen the documentary called The Last Dance about Michael Jordan and the 96 Bulls, or the Bulls franchise, the dynasty, you might get a better...
Chad, I don't know anything about sports ball, so feel free to clarify anything in chat about what he's talking about here.
Idea of what it's like working for Alex Jones. And you can watch and you listen to people talk about how Michael Jordan is an asshole and Michael Jordan is hard to play for and nobody wants to play with him and he's a jerk and he's got the highest expectations and all this stuff. And it's just like, well, I like that. I mean, that's how Alex Jones is, folks. Alex Jones is hard to work for. He demands championships. He demands the best.
Well, that part makes sense, right? Because Alex is a very, like, Alex will say it himself. He's a very, very, like, demanding, high standards type of guy. Which is why, like, he knows he's difficult to work for. Skibbity Alex. Jeez. But yeah, like, what he's saying here makes perfect sense. Alex Jones is a very high standards, demanding guy who, you know, demands a lot out of the people he works with. So, that checks out.
Now, some people can deal with that, some people can't. But I feel like Wednesday was our last dance. I feel like Wednesday was our last dance. We went out there, we fired at the Millennium Falcon, we got our final championship, we got our final big victory, we broke the big story. And then if you understand, just like in the documentary, everything kind of just blows up after that. So I don't know. I tried my best to go down with the ship at InfoWars. That was also very meaningful to me. But that just became an impossibility because I don't even know what's really going on, quite frankly. I'm not sure anybody does. So I don't know. InfoWars could be off air this week. InfoWars could be off air next year. I have no idea, but I can no longer, I'm at a point now in my life where I can no longer play that game of committing to go down with the ship because I got other issues. And I've been extremely loyal to Alex, overly loyal to Alex and InfoWars. And I'm okay with that. You know, I was a corporate man. I was a network man. And I was proud to play for, as I view it, the Yankees, the best ever, InfoWars. I was proud of that. And I still am. I have no regrets. But
makes sense.
I couldn't hold out any longer. I wanted this to be my last week on air, but Alex didn't want it. So that's why I'm here tonight, and I'll tell you what is coming up for the future, as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, I've done the network news thing now. This week, actually, yeah, this week would have been the 8-year anniversary of the InfoWars War Room. It would have been 8 years of me hosting the InfoWars War Room. So we didn't make that milestone, unfortunately, but that's okay. We almost got there. So that would have been nice to have that. But I've done the network news thing. You know, I've done the big TV studios. I've done all the lights and cameras and everything. I've done the suits and the ties, which I hate. You know, Alex would always bitch at me when I didn't wear the suit and tie, which that used to be in the InfoWars budget. When I first started there, they would pay for your attire so you could dress up and look nice, but they cut that in 2018. And again, I don't even blame Alex for this stuff because of the lawsuits. You know, he has very little control over a lot of this stuff because of the lawfare against him. But okay, I've done the TV news thing. That's not really who I am. I'm not a network guy. I'm not a TV guy. But I'll explain more of that coming up about where I want to go. But like I said, I've been very loyal. I've never taken any other job offers, and I've gotten plenty. I've never really branched out and done my own thing out of loyalty to InfoWars and Alex so that all the money I can earn is directed to InfoWars. I've always done that. I can't even tell you the amount of opportunities I've passed up on. Speaking opportunities, guest shows, everything. Because I've always put InfoWars first. And I've always said my first priority is going to be to host the War Room every day. And if the offer I'm getting conflicts with that or disrupts it even for a day, I'm not going to take it. So I've always been nothing but overtly loyal. And quite frankly, and again, I don't blame Alex for this, but I haven't had a raise at InfoWars since 2018.
Again, pay attention to this one, because this is something Alex will openly contradict.
I haven't had a raise since 2018. Again, I'm not mad about that. It's never been about money for me, but can you imagine? I mean, folks, the cost of living has about doubled since 2018, okay? So, I mean, I'm basically just living paycheck to paycheck at this point. And I don't complain. It's not a complaint. I'm just telling you. So, this is, if somebody wants to make it about money, always get more money, this is not about money. If it was about money, I would have made it about money a long time ago. I haven't gotten a raise at InfoWars since 2018. I believe that's the last raise. I mean, I could go double check, but it's been a while. But again, that's fine. I'm not complaining about the money. Whether there's a lot of it or not is not what this is about. It's just like, this has been how it's at. I felt like I'm on this roller coaster, I'm strapped in, and there's just nowhere for me to go. And I'm always going to be loyal to the roller coaster. I've always been loyal to the roller coaster. You know, I don't try to grab something while it's on the ride. I don't try to grab something else, you know. But it's just the constant, okay, there's no raise in the future, and then the constant, we're going to shut down tomorrow. We're going to shut down tomorrow. And it's just like, it never happens. So it's like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. And then I feel like I can't even control my own show. I feel like Alex, Alex said to me on the phone, he's not unhappy with me. He thinks I do great work, and I hope he means that. I don't know. But it's just like, when he's constantly disrupting the show and constantly telling me what to cover and constantly telling me the guests, it just feels like I have no control anymore. And you have to understand.
Yeah. Paul and Angel, were you trying to say something? Were you saying something and part of your message got censored? But he's making it a point and complaining about not getting a raise since. Yeah, that is part of it. Some of the things he says, and same thing with the part about the censored. He's like, oh, I wasn't getting censored, but I was feeling pressured and had him looking over my shoulder. So he does do a lot of this, and I'm not sure if Alex mentions that part in the rant, but I know he was saying it today on his show, is that this is something that Owen was doing throughout his video, is saying, oh, well, X wasn't happening, or X wasn't a big deal, but at the same time, X happened, So that is something that Alex took a lot of issue with. Oh, I got you, Fallen Angel. You're saying X to doubt. You're doubting the Rays thing, or you're doubting something else?
To understand, the other thing about being in network news is you end up associating with things or people or subjects that you might not otherwise associate with. So, okay, you kind of have to go with that when you're a network guy. And that's not really how I am either. Now, on that point, I suppose I can get into the future here. And then I'll make an announcement. And I guess I'll open up the phone lines. I'll just open up the phone lines. Because that was my plan this week, was I was going to do a show Tuesday, the anniversary show, the announcement show, and then I was going to do a news show Wednesday, and then I was going to do nothing but call-ins Thursday, and then a veterans call-in Friday. But I guess all of that.
Well, it's interesting then, because like I said, pay attention to the not getting a raise since 2018, because when we jump over to Alex, he's got a lot to say about that.
That's all of that's canceled. So I'll just take calls tonight. I'll just take calls tonight on whatever you guys want. I'll open up the phone lines here momentarily. But let me tell you what's going to happen. I've got this decent studio that I'm in right now. And, it could work. It could work just fine. And it does for the most part. But I'd like to build something bigger. I think here. I'm in a big legal defense right now. They're trying to Jones me. They're trying to take everything I own, trying to take every dollar I have. So they're trying to professional radio-style studio. Probably with maybe 2 or 3, 4 cameras, but it's not going to be like a TV show presentation at all. It's going to be more of a radio show presentation. And if you're tuning in, it's because you want to listen to me cover news. Now, I'll still have the multimedia aspect, and we can still pull stuff up on screen and everything else. But so I need to build a new studio. I also probably need to move to do that. I need to move out of Travis County. I need to move out of Austin because I just get sued left and right here. Because when you're in Travis County, you're just legal lawsuit bait because they know they can get you into the courts here. They're all just big left-wing Democrat activists. So I'm just legal sitting bait here. I'm in a big legal defense right now. They're trying to Jones me. They're trying to take everything I own, trying to take every dollar I have. So they're trying to Jones me right now, too. So I'm in that legal defense. But, I'm told not to talk about it. But I guess I can talk about it now. I was never supposed to talk about it before because it was bad for ratings or whatever. So I was never supposed to talk about it. But now I can. Now I can. They're trying to Jones me. They're trying to sue me for everything. They're trying to sue me for everything I own. So same lawyer, same group, same BS. They're trying to Jones me now, too. But now I guess I can talk about it. So I got to get out of Travis County.
So that's another thing. Apparently Owen is getting sued heavily, similar to Alex, but he claims he wasn't allowed to talk about it. But we don't know. We don't know for sure if he wasn't allowed or if he was just kind of feeling pressured not to. I don't think there's much more here.
So really, I'm taking a big leap of faith, to be quite frank. And that's okay, because I've prayed on it, and God has told me that this is the right thing to do. Again, I was the stubborn one. I was the stubborn one sticking around as long as possible. I was the stubborn one that wanted to go down with the ship. I was the stubborn one that wanted to ride or die with Alex. But it's like it's already dead now. There's no more riding. It's just dying. So yeah, I'm taking a big leap of faith. I'm basically going all in. I'm going to sell my cars. I'm going to sell my house. And I'm hopefully going to find...
Okay, so I think from this point forward, he's just describing what he's going to be doing. So basically he's saying, he's going to move, he's going to go for broke, he's going to establish his own network, and then he expects to have things up and running by October, sometime in October. So, if you want to keep an eye on him, October's probably when we'll see his stuff resurface. And that's fine, best of luck to him. I hope he does well. And part of what is so rough about this is that I actually thought that in a lot of ways Owen's takes on his show were actually sometimes better than Alex's takes. For instance, the Epstein stuff. I think Alex has way too much faith in Trump, whereas Owen just plain doesn't. And I think there'll be a little bit of that semi-related during the Alex Jones rant. But and yeah, we were talking about this earlier in Discord Fractured, you, me, and him, about how we're never getting the Epstein files. And yeah, Owen was basically saying the same thing, and I think that's the most likely outcome. I think at one point he said there was some kind of deal between the CIA and Mossad to not release him. So, yeah, it's just in general not good to talk about legal cases because what you say can get you. Yep. If only a big-nosed Minnesota lawyer would shut the hell up. Yep. Yeah, but I mean, like, just the fact, in Owen's case, he wasn't, as far as I know, he never really even brought up the fact that he was in a legal case. Which, I mean, especially if, you know, you need support funding, it makes sense to bring up sometimes. Just the fact that you have it. Don't wear the Baldo. Yeah. Oh, let's play the reaction clip for that.
No! No!
Are you?
No! No!
Are you joking?
No! No!
Are you joking me?
Never go full Baldo, chat. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at Alex's initial rant. And I say initial because he's been ranting about this for the last 3 days. Yeah, exactly, Fallen Angel.
Wow, buddy!
I can't... My voice can't go as high as PvP's. You know, I kind of wish that I could set my TTS to PPP's voice. Just because I think it would be really funny. Yeah, you get a TTS. And someone can just go,
He's felted! He's gay!
Yeah, so next up we're going to look at Alex's rant. Initial rant, as I said.
You are...
Oh, okay, that's loud. Go. I might have to full screen this one. All right, so yeah, this is on Monday Alex's initial rant to on Tuesday Alex's initial rant responding to Owen's video that we just watched. When you can't play the video Ricada body cam footage recreation. All right, we might do that after the fact. Yeah, I think I saw it a while ago on a list of clips. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll do that after just after we watch Alex's rant. But, yeah, so this was Alex's initial rant on Tuesday when he started his show. So he was ranting about, you know, Owen's video. And he's done a lot more ranting since, like pretty much 3 or 4 times the last couple days during his show. He's been ranting about what happened with Owen. Like, it's really living rent-free in his head. And I can't blame him, like, he's clearly very torn up about this. But yeah, we'll get into it. Oh boy. I don't know if you're more excited for Alex or if you're more excited for the Ricada footage. Well, the fake footage. But alright, here we go. And tell me if this blows out your ears, chat, because it might. You know how Alex is.
You are a snake. You are a rat. You are a fraud. You are a backstabber. You are a handbite. You are a disgrace. And I don't know if it's his personal life. I don't know if it's stuff he's smoking. But I've seen a lot of people get paranoid, you know, that smoke pot and go nuts. But, I mean, I can just tell you this right now, that...
Oh, that was just a highlight for actually.
I'm not here to be shit on or stabbed in the back. This crew isn't your punching bag, and we did nothing to you but be loyal, and you're...
How does this man say the most, like, go on the most serious rants and make them sound like, and just make them sound completely silly? How does he do this? I don't understand. Because, like, this is very serious. This is very, like, near and dear to him. And then he just goes...
That I'm not here to be shit on or stabbed in the back.
I'm not here to be shit on. Like, how does he... I'm not supposed to laugh, but I can't help it. I can't help it, man. Oh, my... Yeah, exactly. Oh, jeez.
This crew isn't your punching bag, and we did nothing to you but be loyal. And your little 5-hour extravaganza of little puppy dog that doesn't know why, and he just wanted to come back and shake my hand. He starts talking to me like he's literally a pimp, and I am a crack whore. He's like, here's how it's gonna be. I'm leaving. And blah, blah, blah. Well, what's the problem? What's the thing? Well, I mean, what can we do? I mean, you know, I don't understand. He's like, well, it's just gone on too long and whatever. But I'll tell you this, if you're really desperate, you can pay me more money. But I'll tell you this, I'm going to promote my new show on InfoWars. And I went, which again, I'm not even against him having a show. If he was nice, I was just like, it was just kind of like, I was like, well, I said, you know, in the bankruptcy stuff, I can't really give you a raise. But I said, that's okay, Owen. He goes, well, you know what? You know, as a favor for you, I'll come in and do a week. And I'm like, no, that's okay, Owen. I'm not. That's fine.
So I'm just gonna say right now, I do believe roughly what he's saying is true, but I think he is, because he does have kind of a tendency to do this, especially when he's, you know, in like a very emotionally charged situation like this. He gets kind of hot-headed. I think he probably is exaggerating to some degree the way Owen talked to him. I think there is a little bit of exaggeration going on here. But I do not believe that Alex Jones is a liar. He's a lot of things, but I don't think he's a liar.
I wish you well. And I hung up and literally got a tear in my eye because he was talking to me with just like Patrick Bateman or something. So then he races out and goes on air and is like, you know, I'm just leaving because, you know I can't talk about Trump, and, you know, I know it hurts Jones's access, and, you know, he really, you know, all innuendo. He didn't have the guts to just tell the pure lie that I told him to do stuff, which I didn't. And a bunch of other stuff. I haven't even watched half of it. It's just so painful to watch.
Don't eat the frogs. Yeah, well, you know, not long ago, they were selling straight frogs as InfoWars merch.
He's sitting there manipulating and wriggling around like a snake, trying to make it as bad as he can, but skate the edge so he can say, I never did that, because he got the whole crew knows it's not true. He's got the...
So that's the thing he's talking about. I was mentioning this earlier when he said, you know, let me just replay this really quick.
He's sitting there manipulating and wriggling around like a snake, trying to make it as bad as he can, but skate the edge so he can say, I never did that, because
That's the thing I'm talking about, where I remember, Fractured, you were saying earlier. Oof. Yeah, oof. Hey, Snap, how you doing, man?
Welcome, valued customer!
We're just talking about the Alex Jones, Owen Schroyer situation. France wants to know your location. Yes, Fractured. Let me see if it's still in here. But what you were saying earlier, we find it here. Yeah, he's making a point and complaining about not getting a raise since. So what Alex is saying here is pretty much that, what we were talking about earlier, where Owen is saying, oh, it wasn't like this, but then he's kind of implying that it is. So like with the raise, he said he didn't get a raise. Oh, but it's not a big deal. That's not really the problem. But he has but you know, he's still complaining about, like, he's still talking about it, making a point out of it. And that's kind of what Alex is referring to here, is that he's kind of beating around the bush and kind of acting a little snaky about it, you know? Super late, but I'm glad you made it live. Well, I'm glad you made it too, Snap. I'm always happy to see you.
He's got the whole crew knows it's not true. He's got the other hosts that know it's not true. He then runs on air and is like, I just wanted to come back for a week and shake his hand and thank him. But he didn't. He doesn't want to be my friend. Meanwhile, let me tell you how it is. I mean, literally, yeah, no, it's all over. There's nothing. You can't get me back. I tell you, though, if you're really desperate. And he said that, and I went, excuse me? There was more, and he goes, well, I mean, if you want to do something really desperate. And he was really getting off on it. And I'm like going, this is an evil son of a bitch, man. Wow, I had a snake around here. I had no idea. And I literally started getting tears in my eyes because he was burning down like an old house. It burns up in like 2 minutes. He's burning down. I'm just like, oh, and I got to go, man. And I literally stumbled in the pool, and I was just like, And I was like, I'm going to take the high road. I called the crew. I said, let's be nice.
Just dealt with someone at work who has a lot of tenure and had to say no to him. Yeah, freaking hate dealing with those people. Yeah, a lot of times the people with a lot of tenure, they get rather entitled and act like just because they've been there a long time, that means, you know, they're entitled to a lot. And they can be difficult to deal with, especially if they're like in a position of authority or something. Like, Snap, you work at a school, right? So I imagine you're working with like teachers and stuff. And yeah, a lot of, and I hate to say it, but a lot of teachers tend to take their authority too seriously. You know, the South Park, respect my authority, that bit.
Nice, let's be sweet. And then I started seeing the clips. And Owen, man, you're a piece of crap, brother. All right. And if I was anybody, I wouldn't.
Like, when I first saw him say this, when I first saw him call Owen a piece of crap, like, I was actually shocked. I never in my life expected to hear Alex Jones call Owen Schroyer a piece of crap. Like, this is like a really, you know, top 10 anime betrayal kind of thing. Like, it's massive. Yeah, you got documentation of everything you did, so if you get called out, you got that told me. That's good. That's always good in these kinds of situations. Yeah, you work at a school district. Yeah.
Turn my back on Owen Schroyer. Right. And if I was anybody, I wouldn't turn my back on Owen Schroyer. So, I mean, he took Snake to the next level. So, Owen Schroyer's dead to me. If he goes on air and repents to Jesus and apologizes for being demon-possessed or whatever it is he is, then I will forgive him.
Like, this is extreme, you know? Like, this is a very extreme response. Which, I mean, on the one hand, yeah, Alex is known to get hot-headed, but, like, to go to that extreme degree, like, it sounds like this is really serious. This isn't just, you know, Owen wanting to go off and do his own thing. Yeah, you're gonna lurk and finally eat your lunch. Cool. Well, hope it's a good lunch, man. And now I'm hungry.
But he thinks that he would like absorb us as a launch pad and lie about us to make himself a victim so he could project himself and launch his own show when he cut and run and didn't even call me or didn't even say anything or didn't even say, hey, what can I do? He just cut and run and said, I'm done with you people. When Bloomberg and The Onion came in here and ransacked this place, and we stood up to him and won thanks to your backing and God's providence, and the whole time, he was trying to cut and run. But then when he figured out that, oh, it's still there, he slunk back over, and I never even came to him and said, hey, it's good to have you back, man. Glad, blah, blah. Just, yeah, okay, sure. Just like, people say, why was you swinging around like that? Because I wasn't going to give him what he wanted.
So what he's talking about is that apparently, you remember earlier, I think it was earlier this year, when The Onion, backed by Bloomberg, won a fake bid to buy InfoWars. And then they actually sent people into the studio to shut it down. Supposedly, Owen just like kind of walked off and disappeared when that happened. Which is if true, that is very not cool of him. And by the way, I don't think Owen has responded to any of this so far. I don't know if he will. But, you know.
Knew what he was going to do, but I wanted to make sure. It's one thing to know what somebody's going to do, but it's another to wait till they do it. And he did it worse than I thought. First off, betrayal is one of the most despicable things there is.
Fair enough.
And particularly betrayal that is carefully crafted and that is premeditated. To know that someone who acts like they're your friend is plotting and scheming and manipulating, and to just disregard it because you're a loyal person, and then to see that individual betray not just you, but the crew and the idea of what we are and how embattled we are, and to try to cast us as the villains and he as the hero and the victim. I will not put up with it. It is the holy grail out there to be censored, because when you really are censored, people want to Streisand effect find out what's been censored. And I've been really censored. I've been really attacked, and so has InfoWars.
I mean, that's true. You can't.
But I've never accused people of censoring or oppressing me who didn't do it. And we had another talk show host about 6 years ago post on Twitter that we were censoring him. He didn't say what. I came into him and I said, what did we ever censor? What did we ever do? And he said, I'm not talking to you about it. You know you're censoring me. And I said, how? I said, listen, do it again, you're fired. And about a year later, they were uploading his morning show, and this happens, you know, every once in a while, and only the first hour went up, and he flipped out and went online and said that he was being censored by us. And I called him up, and he started yelling at me, don't you give me that. And I said, the guys, all the time we upload stuff everywhere. They'll upload it. We don't even know, what were you talking about?
Snappery89 type 5, appreciator support always and keep up the good work.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Snap. I really appreciate that. That is actually the first tip I've ever received on a stream. How do you like the French narrator, by the way? So Snap said, appreciate your support as always and keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Snap. That is very kind of you. I really appreciate that. Oh, crap. Sorry. Wrong button. Sorry. Yeah, the French guy. Yeah, I went with a French one. Yes, that was French. It was a French narrator reading it. Yeah. Hell yeah, Snap. Hell yeah. Okay, I don't have another clip for this, but yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that is very awesome of you. You absolutely did. You absolutely did. But yeah, so I wanted the TTS to sound like the French narrator from SpongeBob. So if you hear it, it goes, Snapper tipped $5. Appreciate your support as always and keep up the good work. It sounds even funnier on the Stream Elements side, but the Ko-Fi one, because the Ko-Fi one only has like the one French voice. But the Stream Elements one had a couple, and so I went with the funniest sounding one. So yes, if you tip, then you will get a French narrator reading out your tip. So, yeah. Yeah, thanks again. As I said, keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Snap. And thank you so much for being here. Like I said, I really appreciate it. You know, you guys never have to send anything, but just the fact that you're here watching, spending your time with me, that means a lot. All right, so let's get back to the rant, folks.
And I said, upload it. We don't even know, what were you talking about? He was bashing Trump. And I said, that's it, you're fired, man. Not because of what he was saying about topics, but because he was saying we were censoring him. So, and that was David Knight. So I've got a real problem with this, and I took the high road on that because
Yeah, so he's talking about David Knight. I never watched David Knight. He was a guy that was on InfoWars a couple years back. He had a show. And yeah, I guess he was also very hard to work with or something. So, yep. Which I guess there you go. That's why he's not there anymore.
I wasn't very close to David Knight, and he was kind of the grumpy old man and was just frustrated that his show wasn't as popular as mine. And I promoted it and just had a chip on his shoulder. And I mean, I did stuff like, give him hundreds of thousands of dollars when he had a heart attack, and hire both his sons and kiss his ass. And the more I was nice to him, the more he just got angry and hateful.
Yeah, some
and then
people
he's
are like
gone out
that.
since then and disgraced himself and said that I flat out censored him on things. Oh, really? Show the proof. Not true. I mean, this is...
Some people are like that, where like the nicer you are to them, the more they'll just take advantage of it, and they'll just keep mistreating you and treat you worse and worse.
Ridiculous, okay? So, Owen Schroyer has now done this, and the way he did it is particularly deceptive, like he thinks I'm stupid. Got a very aggressive phone call from him with him yesterday, and then he ran off and did his publicity stunt.
The old give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Yeah, exactly. You give them, but it's like the nicer you are to them, the worse they are. And it's a lot of times these are also people who are like kind of in authority or whatever. Like most people aren't going to do that, but it seems like it gets worse as you talk to like. A lot of times these also tend to be like older people who act like that too. But yeah.
My expense, the crew's expense, at this institution's expense, and I mean just lie after lie after lie. I mean, I've got, and we're checking with lawyers right now, but I've got his tax filings. I've got what he's paid. I've got everything here. Said he hadn't had a raise since 2018.
Yeah. So you remember that? Remember that, guys? I said, keep in mind how he said he hadn't had a raise since 2018. Well, here's Alex talking about that.
Since 2018, he's had multiple raises of $80,000 on top of what he was paid before, and huge bonuses. Have it all right here. That's just one example. Who do these people think they are? So, I didn't put him in prison on J6. We raised the money for him to fight it. I didn't do any of these things. And to watch the way, and I couldn't watch the whole 5 hours. I wasn't even going to watch it. People kept sending me clips, and my phone was blowing up, and all these text messages, and is this true? Is that true? And I started watching it, and notice it's why I'm leaving InfoWars. Not I quit, or I was fired leaving at Nebulous, but just get him on the screen. I can't even look at him. And he's like, oh, I understand why he didn't want me talking about Trump. He'll have his access cut off. That's why I've got to go. Oh, I understand the things I was doing were really causing the problem. No, they weren't. I never told him you ought to do this or that. I said, hey, you can attack Trump all you want, but hey, we also need to stay on top of the Democrats here. I said that on air. I never even said that to him in person. I said on air. That's what talk show hosts do. I started out in talk radio. Other shows on the same station, the morning show talks about the afternoon show, and they disagree and agree, and they have debates. That's normal. We're not in a cult here. I'm not censoring somebody because I say I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I have Nick Fuentes on who says he's totally done with Trump. And I say, you're making good points. I can see why you say it, but I disagree on this, this, and that. And Nick doesn't go, oh my God, you're censoring me because you disagree with me. That's not what that is.
I do believe that Alex Jones would never outright censor Owen. I don't think that's even in question. But yeah, that's what's kind of difficult here, is that it's hard to tell what exactly was going on. Maybe, is Owen lying, or maybe he just felt, even though Alex isn't, explicitly trying to censor him, maybe he just felt kind of pressured to watch what he was saying to like stay in line. But it's difficult to tell. That's one of those things that it's just really difficult to tell what's going on.
And I talked to Nick this morning, and he obviously thinks that Or I even told him what went on, that, you know, Owen handled it completely wrong. But it was as I started this morning, I didn't do my workout because I was busy, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and watch these clips. And I sat there, and what made me really mad was he was acting all sad and hurt, and, oh, you know, this happened, and, well, and it was like innuendo for hours and hours. And at the end, oh, Alex never censored me. But he stood over my shoulder. Yeah, like what, once a month come in to give you something? Which, when he was hired, knows part of the thing. That's why there's microphones in the control rooms. I want everybody to...
I mean, okay, it's more than once a month. That, I think he's I guess whatever the opposite of exaggerating would be, or maybe exaggerating the other way. He's underselling it. He did interrupt a lot.
Get on here. Hey, breaking news. I'll come in and hand them a... Did you see this on Fox? This just happened. Go tell Owen. Doesn't mean have him on. He was mad.
And this stuff is fine. Downplaying. Thank you, Fractured. That's the word. Yeah, he's kind of downplaying it. I mean, it's fine what he's doing, because he's talking about, like, you know, this is breaking news, or this is really important, and all that stuff. That's fine. But he is downplaying it a little bit, because it was definitely more than once a month.
And he told the crew that I'll have a guest on and say, hey, you're here, you're a huge guest. Nick Fuentes is an example. Or whoever, Roger Stone, whoever it is. Hey, did they book you? Hey, call Owen and see if he wants them on. Owen told the crew that that was me controlling a show, just helping a newsroom. Hey, you want to go on another show? Let's see if they can have a slot for you. That's what he's got. That's what David Knight had, because they need to be censored. They need me to be the villain. Oh, my gosh. One time, they only uploaded the first hour of his show instead of 3, and so the
Catboy Seaman Detective, a big guest. Yep. Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Nick Fuentes is just very big as a guest on stuff like this. I don't really know why. I mean, you know, like, you remember last week we were talking about how I'm half convinced that he created the gay femboy virus. Yeah, that is a weird one. But just wait, I don't know if it's in this clip, but Nick Fuentes comes up again in a very hilarious way.
Evil people that just upload it everywhere and 99% of the time get it right. They made a mistake. Finally, Alex Jones censored me. Finally. Oh, finally. It's so good. I'm a victim. I'm the...
Hey, Mr. Krabs is getting all sweaty again.
The best. He's bad. See, he was evil. I was good. And that's why people that bash me, and I've talked about this a lot on air, you see it all the time. I'll have a guest on, and we go to break. And that they post and go, look, when they talked about this subject, he went to break. And they don't show that coming out of break, we always come back to it. Or that the breaks have been set for 27 years at the exact same time. Got one coming up in 14 minutes, 20 seconds. Set your watch by it. It's an atomic clock. They censor by not showing you what they said after, and then invert it and say, I censored. That's what other people do, because this is the whole thing, to manufacture censorship.
Yeah, they do take them out of
context. And so you can have a Streisand effect. Oh, there was bad stuff going on. You know, I had to go because, you know, this and that. And I mean, like, we're not human. That's very sociopathic. We're not human. And to boost yourself so you can get 1 million live streamers watching you, here it is right here. You know, couldn't do that on regular news topics. Though Owen's done some great stuff and done great work, that's why I hired him. No, but for whatever reason, if I can just get that hit again, I'll just come out and attack Alex Jones and play victim and act sad the whole time. And it's not true. So, Owen, tell us again, you hadn't had a raise since 2018? Is $80,000 increase in 3 different raises? Is that a $80,000 on top of what you're getting paid?
I mean, I don't... that sounds indisputable. And I mean, I really don't think Alex would lie about something like that, especially to this degree. about the salary, because it does not sound like something that you can really dispute. So I don't know what's going on with Owen there. I don't know if he's outright lying or what. Because to be fair, like, we know a lot about Alex, right? Like, he's very open about himself and his personal life and all that. We don't actually know that much about Owen, if you think about it. Because Owen, unlike Alex, Owen never really talks about himself or talks about, you know, what's going on with him outside of, like, you know, the really serious stuff, like when he got swatted. So it's kind of hard to gauge what his actual personality is, and I really don't know if maybe he could be lying. It's hard to say. Like, I like his takes on the news, but it is really hard to say if Owen is, you know, lying about this or not. But I don't think Alex would lie about it.
Tell people what you are paid. You got the clips. How about telling people about the bonuses or the Hellcat I gave you just as a friend? Here, have my Hellcat. It was worth about $60,000 when I gave it to you. It was $85,000 when I bought it. Oh yeah, tell me on about how bad I am again. So if somebody will lie about people he said was his friend for 10 years like that, and so nakedly, that's a really nice person. And so let me tell you what happened here. So I'll get to all the other news that's coming up. Owen last Thursday, I'm all stressed out. My dad's had open heart surgery. It went well. I'm driving back up to Temple to see him. You know, driving back and forth. You know, came.
Oh, I wish I had a boss that gives out Hellcats. Yeah, that'd be cool, huh? Hellcat is a World War II plane? What is he talking about? I'm sure there is some kind of car that's called a Hellcat. That vehicle. Oh, this is probably what he's talking about then. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Wingus. Yeah, that's what it is. Dodge Challenger Hellcat. So that's probably what he's talking about, Neo. Brave AI calls it a Dodge Challenger. Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like Hellcat is just the name for a particular type of Dodge Challenger. Your cartism comes handy. Yeah, that makes sense. Wingus beat you to it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't really know anything about cars or World War II planes. So, glad you guys know, because I didn't.
Came down on Thursday to do the show in the morning, drove up here at like 5 a.m., do my show, get in the car, leave, and Kyle Seraphin starts texting me saying, hey, I just got sued by Cash Patel's girlfriend, plus we found a secret J6 database to secretly persecute people and this and that. I go, well, that's huge. I said, well, can you go on Owen's show if you've got a slot? And he said, yeah. When? He said 4:30. So I call up.
By the way, he brings up this Cash Patel's girlfriend apparently is suing. So let me pull this up here. So he's saying that Cash Patel is being sued by this girl. Well, you guys are covering it. New tab there. So saying he's being that guy that they're talking to is being sued by this girl, who is Cash Patel's girlfriend, because he, I think, claims she's an Israeli agent or something. Chat, would you let this alleged Israeli agent honeypot you? Because I would. I absolutely would. So if I want an Israeli honeypot girlfriend, clearly I just have to become the director of the FBI, or was it deputy director? No, whatever he is. I just have to clearly get to a high position in the FBI and sell out to Israel.
Rob Agueros, who's the producer at that time, and I say, hey, see if Owen wants him on, has got a slot. He can come on anytime after 4:30. And then Rob calls back and he says, well, what's the topics? And I said, well, just call Seraphin. But and I said, I'll send a voice memo to Owen. So Owen during a break listens to it and says, that's it, I'm leaving. And says I'm controlling his show in a newsroom saying, hey, this is a big thing. I can't do it because, you know, I stay up here at night and do reports. I'd have done it. Here's this.
Can I be honeypotted? Yeah, I know. We all we should all get we all deserve honeypots. You know, we all deserve a nice honeypot. You know, James O'Keefe, if you're out there, I'm being very naughty. Feel free to send a cute girl to honeypot me. I promise I'll do something bad.
Thing, you know, we're a team, and that's been like that ever since he was here and before he was here. I mean, the guys are in there grabbing articles and videos, and I'll, you know, when Owen's show's about to start, I run over there with stuff that I think is important. Hey, do you already have this? I think this is pretty big. You know about this? That's what goes on in newspapers and TV stations and radio stations. You know, it's like having a pigskin in a football game, or a baseball in a baseball game, or lights for a nighttime game, or hot dogs and Coca-Cola being sold. But see, in the world of victimhood, that is like absolute total censorship to give people information.
I'm going to be honest, maybe it's just because we were talking about something, but he lost me with the hot dogs.
But that's how he's then vague. He was standing over me. You know, actually, if we did our job better, I would be doing that every day, not bringing him something once a week. Hey, in here on the computer, I just grabbed it off Fox, off the satellite. Hey, we have raw feeds too off satellites. Hey, look at this raw feed. Come get this. That's so bad. That's bad, isn't it? Like, I'm running around at big TV screens with satellite feeds and saying, look at this, look at that. I mean, that is just horrible. I sit in the coffee room that's got satellite feeds and eat my lunch at 3 o'clock, and then I sit there and text the crew, hey, this looks interesting, that looks interesting. Come, man, I want to apologize right now. I mean, you're talking nasty evil, okay, being a news hound. I mean, I want to apologize actually to Owen for that. But that's the type of sophistry where you go, oh, he would hang over me, he would try to control the show, he would whatever. Total lie. And then as all the articles come out, and Jones censored Schroyer on Trump criticism and Israel. So let's see if Schroyer comes out and apologizes for you. Oh, no, he's going to say, I didn't really exactly say that. No, you couched each statement perfectly thought out and looking down at your notes to be able to lie about us and try to hurt this organization for your benefit so you can be a hero. Yeah,
again, that's what we were talking about earlier, where he said, you know, I haven't gotten a raise, but, you know, that's not a big deal. But he's like, but, you know, it's like he brought it up for a reason, right? So that's what he's doing. He's, as he said, he's couching it to kind of imply it's a problem.
You are a snake. You are a rat. You are a fraud. You are a backstabber. You are a handbiter. You are a disgrace. And let me say something else about you. Even before he went to prison for 4 months, and we did the crowdfunding, raised, fought everything for him, all that, he stopped talking to the crew very much and didn't have a good attitude, was pissed off all the time. And then it got to where he'd show up right before the show, wouldn't even talk to the crew. He'd walk by me and say something like, you know, just sort of laughing at me. Like, again, I'm not in junior high, so it didn't hurt me at that level. It hurt me that he was just like, yeah, I heard you, yes. Oh, and we can go further. When The Onion, backed by Bloomberg, did the fraudulent auction and got caught in all of that back in November, on November 13th, and I said, we're not leaving, this is a fraud, I'm filing emergency motion. The judge found it to be a fraud. Got a 2-day hearing on all that. Owen just left and just called the producer and said, I'm done, I quit. Even though we have a backup studio, I told everybody, hey, it's going to be fine. We have new backers, all this stuff, if we get shut down. He's like, I'm gone. Starts announcing, is this the time? Because InfoWars is being shut down, he thinks. Announce his new network and funding and all this stuff. And then...
Yeah, so this is what I was talking about earlier. I guess it was in November. Yeah, so apparently Owen, as soon as the Onion thing happened, he just kind of quit, even though they had like all the backups and stuff set up. And then when it turned out that everything was thrown out, he just kind of came back.
We're back the next day, and Owen just shows back up and does his show. And walks in and just looks at me with hatred and like slinks in there, just because he really wanted me to fire him so he could be a victim. And I confided just in a few of the producers. I said, he wants to be a victim. I said, I'm going to have love and say prayers for him that he gets better. I'll be really nice to him, give him extra bonuses. Maybe he'll pull out of it. I tried to talk to him. He's never wanted to talk to me. And I said, but I said, he's going to stab me in the back. He's a new person.
This is weird. It makes me wonder why, if true, why Owen's attitude would have deteriorated so much. Because he says at the beginning Owen was, really totally nice, decent guy. But what could have happened to make Owen act like this as time went on?
And I don't know if it's his personal life. I don't know if it's stuff he's smoking. But I've seen a lot of people get paranoid, that smoke pot and go nuts. But I can just tell you this right now, that I'm not here to be shit on or stabbed in the back. This crew isn't your punching bag, and we did nothing to you but be loyal. And your little 5-hour extravaganza of little puppy dog that doesn't know why, and he just wanted to come back and shake my hand and be nice, and then I kind of censored him and said, no, you don't need to host your show. You want to hear what he said in the phone call to me? I didn't record it. I was in the pool with my 8-year-old daughter playing with her Barbie dolls at whatever it was, 4 o'clock yesterday. A rare day, I actually only came in and worked the office about 4 hours. So I go back. She's literally calling me. Daddy, you're supposed to be home. You said be home at 10. I want to play in the yard. So I'm sitting there about 4 o'clock, bobbing around. And I get a text message, bzz, bzz, bzz. Hey, I'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Because remember, I called him Thursday when he just got up and left. I said, hey, what's wrong? And he's like, Monday. I mean, because he's the commander. And so I sent him a few texts later. I said, hey, can we talk now? Ignores me. So Monday rolls around, bzz, talk, 10 a.m. tomorrow. I got the text right here. And I'm like, that's kind of late, maybe 9:30, whichever. I said, how about we just talk right now? Because I go, it's pretty clear you're about to quit. He goes, you really want to do this right now? I said, yeah. So he calls up, and while I'm calling him, he calls me. So I pick it up, and he starts talking to me like he's literally a pimp, and I am a crack whore. He's like, here's how it's going to be. I'm leaving. And blah, blah, blah. Well, what's the problem? What's the thing? Well, I mean, what can we do? I mean, I don't understand. He's like, well, it's just gone on too long and whatever. But I'll tell you this, if you're really desperate,
okay, so I think we saw
money. But I'll tell you this
earlier. I guess
I'm
going to
promote my new show on InfoWars. And I went, which again, I'm not even against him having a show. If he was nice, I was just like, it was just kind of like, I was like, well, I said, in the bankruptcy stuff, I can't really give you a raise. But I said, that's okay, Owen. He goes, well, you know what? As a favor for you, I'll come in and do a week. And I'm like, no, that's okay, Owen. That's fine. I wish you well. And I hung up and literally got a tear in my eye because he was talking to me.
Yeah, I do think that it's possible that maybe he's exaggerating a little bit the way Owen was talking and maybe downplaying his own responses a little bit. I do believe that he probably got very emotional, but this sounds a little too... It sounds a little too much like it paints Alex as entirely the good guy and Owen is entirely, acting evil, which I'm not inclined to 100% believe.
Just like Patrick Bateman or something. And so I go back and get in the pool and, keep playing. Or maybe it was even earlier than 4. That's right, because then I took my daughter to see a movie. Whatever, it was in the afternoon. So then he races out and goes on air and is like, I'm just leaving because, I know I can't talk about Trump. And
well, and if Alex thought he was a snake, why keep him around? So he mentioned that earlier in the video. What he was saying is he didn't want to fire Owen just because he didn't want to give him the satisfaction of firing him and letting him play victim. So at least that's what Alex said a little earlier.
I know it hurts Jones's access, and he really, all innuendo. He didn't have the guts to just tell the pure lie that I told him to do stuff, which I didn't. And a bunch of other stuff. I haven't even watched half of it. It's just so painful to watch. He's sitting there manipulating and wriggling around like a snake, trying to make it as bad as he can, but skate the edge so he can say, I never did that, because he's got the whole crew knows it's not true. He's got the other hosts that know it's not true. So he wants to pull a David Knight. I mean, Harrison Smith says whatever he wants. I walked in this morning, I said, have I ever told you not to say something? He goes, no, it's actually, I'm surprised you haven't. I'm kind of out of control. I go, no, but I like you're a good guy. Just say whatever you want. So, and I got all the producers and all the people I've said on air, I think Owen's too black-pilled as an example, and that we all should be more positive. That's my opinion.
I mean, yes, Owen is black-pilled, but I also think when Owen is black-pilled, I think Owen is also correct. Especially when it comes to, the Epstein and Trump stuff. I think Alex puts too much faith in Trump. Whereas Owen, I think, is more realistic about it. So I do disagree with Alex there. But again, I don't think that's Alex trying to censor Owen. I think that's just, Alex expressing his opinion. So
it's not an attack, it's a discussion. So he then runs on air and is like, I just wanted to come back for a week and shake his hand and thank him. But he didn't. He doesn't want to be my friend.
Okay, see, he's exaggerating here because that is not how Owen said it. He was not crying. He was just stating it pretty evenly. Alex is just making it sound like he was sobbing while he was saying it.
Meanwhile, let me tell you how it is. I mean, literally, yeah, no, it's all over. There's nothing. You can't get me back. I tell you, though, if you're really desperate. And he said that, and I went, excuse me? There was more, and he goes, well, I mean, if you want to do something really desperate. And he was really getting off on it. And I'm like going, this is an evil son of a bitch, man. Wow, I had a snake around here. I had no idea. And I literally started getting tears in my eyes because he was burning down like an old house. It burns up in 2 minutes. He's burning down.
Yeah, that is the thing about Alex, is that he does have a habit of getting into theatrics a lot. And I think that's part of why his rants, even when they're completely serious, they turn into something oddly hilarious.
I'm just like, oh, and I gotta go, man. And I literally stumbled in the pool and I was just like, And I was like, I'm gonna take the high road. I called the crew. I said, let's be nice, let's be sweet. And then I started seeing the clips. And Owen, man, you're a piece of crap, brother. All right. And if I was anybody, I wouldn't turn my back on Owen Schroyer. So, I mean, he took Snake to the next level. So, Owen Schroyer's dead to me. If he goes on air and repents to Jesus and apologizes for being demon-possessed or whatever it is he is, then I will forgive him. But he thinks that he would absorb us as a launch pad and lie about us to make himself a victim so he could project himself and launch his own show when he cut and run and didn't even call me or didn't even say anything or didn't even say, hey, what can I do? He just cut and run and said, I'm done with you people. When Bloomberg and The Onion came in here and ransacked this place, and we stood up to him and won thanks to your backing and God's providence, and the whole time, he was trying to cut and run. But then when he figured out that, oh, it's still there, he slunk back over, and I never even came to him and said, hey, it's good to have you back, man. Glad, blah, blah. Just, yeah, okay, sure. Just just like, people say, why would you swing around like that? Because I wasn't going to give him what he wanted. I knew what he was going to do, but I wanted to make sure. It's one thing to know what somebody's going to do, but it's another to wait till they do it.
Okay, yeah, see right there. So you were asking earlier, Fractured, why keep him around if he thought he was a snake? That's the answer right there, because he didn't want to give him the satisfaction. And he didn't want to give him the ability to play victim. So.
And he did it worse than I thought. So, Owen thinks this new franchise is going to be talking crap about me. He thinks his new franchise is going to be running down this fabled operation, this incredible crew, and our supporters that are the InfoWar. Well, guess what, buddy? You can piss up a rope. No matter what happens to this office with the name InfoWars, we're going to go on forever thanks to the listeners and the viewers. God bless you all.
Is the rest of this just ads? No, he's still going. What the heck?
Fauci vaccine. Will he make it or become the monster's meal? To be continued.
Well, that was weird.
And by the way, I'm going to say this to tough guy Owen Schroyer, the smartest guy in the room. Mr. Know-It-All thinks he can run a publicity stunt to hurt our operation for his own gain.
I do hope they left the Nick.
I didn't bring out the bad stuff. So go ahead and run your mouth some more. And go ahead. You got some bad stuff to say? Just more. Just do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Like Elvis says. Well, if you're really desperate, pay me more. But I'm going to promote my new show on your station. And I just said to him 5 minutes before, well, if you're doing something new, great. You know, with these new backers we've got, if they shut down InfoWars, we're going to go to 20 hours a day and like to work with you again. I went, nah, I don't think so. And I was just talking to Harrison out in the hall during the break, and he said, yeah, we thought InfoWars was going under because the crew didn't really believe me we were going to beat them. And we also have a backup, which we do. Now they know that. I understand, that they didn't know back then. Now they really believe me because we survived a bunch of these attacks. He said, oh, well, that's great. Well, I'd like to work with you. Maybe we should do a show once a week together and kind of keep the old team together somehow. Owen's go, no, I'm working alone. And that.
Harrison, by the way, Harrison Smith is the guy who hosts the morning show in InfoWars. So it was like Harrison Smith's show, then Alex Jones' show, and then what was Owen Schroyer's show.
That was the attitude was he wouldn't even talk to anybody for years here in the office. And just went completely cold. I'd be like, hey, let's go out and get a steak sometime. Nah, it's all right. And he'd pull up in the parking lot, just get out and just look at me like, literally. He walked by me and just go, look me from the feet up, just go, yeah, right. You talk about an arrogant person. He should star in the new American Psycho. Hell, he should. If they need somebody to run for, California governor after Newsom leaves, I think Owen ought to move out to California. He could do it. He's in love with himself. He's worldly. And I'm glad I let it mature until the big fat tumor was right out in the open so everybody could see it. But it was worse than I thought. The big tumor I thought was there was just the tip of it. And so it's a real shame, But I've been stabbed in the back so much and had people lie about me so much that I've taken the high road every single time. And this is the high road. Because if I let him sit there and tell all those lies he did, he'll just make a cottage industry out of it. That's what these people do. Former employees say that, there's a fish bowl and I grab the fish out and eat it. There's never been a fish or a fish bowl here. And just.
I've never heard that rumor. That is also the strangest rumor to make up about him. Like, him pulling fish out of a fish bowl and eating them? What? Why would you even make up something like that? Something so bizarre.
All sorts of insane crap, and I just put up with it. But here's the difference. I wasn't friends. I liked him. I knew him, but I didn't hang out with them hundreds of times at restaurants and bars. I didn't go on trips with them everywhere. I didn't shake their hand and laugh. And he was a funny, nice, sweet guy. But even before he went to prison, he turned nasty.
So that's interesting. So he, yeah, like I said, apparently Owen was a nice guy initially. And he says this was even before he went to prison, he got a bad attitude. Which is curious, because if anything, I would have thought that it was prison that sort of soured him. But no, if he changed before the prison thing, then that really makes me wonder just what on earth happened that made him change.
And all I can say is he's unrecognizable from the old Owen Schroyer. And I got all this other big news to talk about. People tune in on radio stations all over the country to hear about the news and information. And I was so excited yesterday about today's show and all the good things the Trump administration is doing, which are real good things that devastate the globalists. Let's say Trump's Satan himself, okay? Let's remove that from the discussion. Case in point, I was telling the crew, and they go this morning, they go, yeah, look what Owen posted here. Look what he said. He said, Trump has admitted defeat on warp speed by coming out and saying, looks like they held back data. I want the data released. Well, we know what the data is, mass deaths. We know it from lawsuits already, but they're trying to get the original data. And I guess you can look at it. That's actually a true statement. Okay, Trump admits defeat. I know he was conned. He was roped into it. They gave him fake statistics. I said that back at the time. I know because I know the people involved. I've talked to Kennedy, all of them. The lawyers involved, the people that got the documents. We already know all this. But now it's coming out. And so you take something like that, just case point example, and say, Trump has been defeated. Along with Fauci and Bill Gates and Peter Daszak and Albert Bourla and Larry Fink. And so long after Trump's gone, we're going to be dealing with the globalists. We need to take them down. And Kennedy signs orders.
I mean, yeah, Trump is doing some good things, sure. You know, the deportations and, well, some of them, some of the other stuff here, some of the stuff with RFK Jr. But at the same time, he's, at least in my opinion, he has been something of a disappointment in a lot of ways. Even with the deportations, you remember for a while, he was saying, even for a while, during the deportations, Trump was saying, oh, we're actually going to make exceptions for the illegals who, you know, work in agriculture. And I was like, dude, what the heck are you doing? They reversed that, but it was a problem. And then, you know, there's still the problem of, even with all the deportations, we have the rampant H-1Bs taking American jobs. He hasn't really done much about that. Inflation, still crazy. I don't even know if we've had any tax cuts yet. So, well, Angela, you really want to see the sucking ding-dong bit? It's like a minute long. I guess we can look at it. If it's... Actually, no, let's do this. Is that the title of the video, Bald Angel? Oh, yeah, there we go.
There's no video of President Trump sucking a ding-dong. And so what if there was? That's a lot better than World War III, Owen. I never sucked any ding-dongs. But I'll tell you, if they were going to blackmail me to start World War III about one, I'd say, hey, I sucked a golf ball through a freaking garden hose.
Didn't you already tell Der Spiegel that?
No, the son of a bitch walked in there in my own office when I'd splattered stuff on myself and I was changing shirts. He goes, oh, that's a good shot. Let's get your shirts. And then he goes, I go, hey, have some of this chicken and sausage. So technically I said, Jones offered me his sausage. Yeah, give me a break, you son of a bitch. I like women, not men. And if I like men, I'd be proud of it. I'd have a line of them. But I ain't ever been in bed with no man. I've been in bed with probably 300 women. And you sons of bitches sit there and you play these games, and I'm sick of it. So.
Owen was clearly having a great time with that.
orders to ban all these poison shots, and they countermand it, so he fires them, and they refuse to leave. There is a war, protest inside the buildings at HHS, NIH, CDC. And we're getting to that next. I mean, did you just think we'd come in and just snap our fingers and get this done? No.
Face is priceless. Yeah, especially at the
and I'm
beginning.
not on some jag about...
He's like, wait, what?
Oh, and it's just a case point. White House fires, put it back up, CDC director who says RFK is weaponizing public health. So they weaponize medicine, put out poison shots that turn off your immune system and give you blood clots and attack your ovaries and testicles and everything else and give you turbo cancers. And then he's weaponizing public health by trying to get GMOs out of school lunch programs and to not have kids drinking Mountain Dew with 12 teaspoons of sugar and caffeine in each serving.
I feel called out.
And all the poison dies out and banning mercury in the shots. And then finally Trump gets the proof from whistleblowers inside Pfizer, and now Pfizer and the FDA that ran it and the CDC that ran the secret studies are hiding it. But we already have the other studies that show the mass death. And that's not good. This is devastating the globalists. But instead, the story becomes, oh, look, Trump admits he's defeated. Trump raises fresh questions about COVID-19 vaccines that he says have ripped apart CDC. So you want reform, baby, you're getting it.
Yeah, that's good.
Trump to make Oval Office announcement as Congress returns after recess. Then you've got the big lie that he was dead, and now, oh, he's seen playing golf, he's sick. No, not just me. When I came on the air 2 weeks ago and said we're in a crisis, he's working 20 hours a day, his ankles are swelling, he is having some health problems now. He wasn't the first term. I was hearing people close to him saying we need to make a big deal about his refusal to stop working. Then he goes and takes 5 days off to play golf and to rest, which he should be doing on a holiday long weekend, and they say he's dead, and now Colonel McGregor with huge news and analysis coming up next hour. But let me tell you what else we got. I mean, there's just hundreds of things like this today, okay? So I'm going to move on from Owen. I will be hosting the War Room today, 3 to 6 p.m. with Jonathan Greenblatt, Owen's replacement.
That's a joke, by the way. Jonathan Greenblatt runs the ADL. If you don't know the ADL, they're terrible. It's some group. It's a group that always cries about anti-Semitism and everything. They, if you remember, after PewDiePie had his bridge moment, you know, the famous bridge moment, he said he was going to donate money to the ADL, and then people told him what the ADL actually did. And then he said, okay, yeah, I'm not going to donate money to the ADL. Resulting in Alex Jones, and I wish I could find the clip, Alex Jones saying, PewDiePie cucked the ADL.
It's a joke. Actually,
okay, pay attention to this next part. This is the Nick Fuentes part.
Nick Fuentes and Ye have agreed to host the War Room. Nick Fuentes and Ye will now be the host of the War Room.
No! No!
Are you?
No! No!
Are you joking?
No! No!
Are you joking me?
Weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So look for that. We are very, very excited. And David Duke is the producer. So we want to please the listeners, give you what you want. I'm joking.
Yeah, he's joking again.
Hey, I would actually, if Ye and Nick want to host the War Room, actually, this is not a joke. I'm publicly inviting Nick Fuentes to host the War Room 3 to 6 p.m. weekdays.
Yeah, so then he actually invites Nick Fuentes to host the War Room. Which, I mean, could be entertaining, if nothing else. Nice Hakenkreuz close up, yeah.
Now, bring out the Gimp. The Gimp's sleeping. Well, you just have to go wake him up now, won't you? Oh, my God. Somehow I feel like Ali Alexander will be wearing the Gimp mask more than Ye, though. You can't make this up. No, Rob Dew is going to host the show till we find Owen's replacement. So, that's where we are. I'm just trying to use us as a springboard so you can play victim that you were too hardcore even for InfoWars. Like we're not human. Like we deserve to be the villains when we aren't. Like we deserve to be innuendoed and, you know, into that. No. And the flat out lie that I haven't had a raise since 2018. Well, hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me check that. Huh. Well, like how do I say I haven't gotten a raise? How do I act like I don't make any money? I'll just say it and then go, maybe I got to check that. Oh, yeah, check that. Well, Owen's going to have a lot more time now to go out and just show us all the success, show us the total victory. You know, now that you're not held back by the evil InfoWars crew that just backed you and supported you and did everything for you. Now that you're free of the chains of me lording over you and sending video clips to the crew a couple times a day or handing out, I mean, you know, the crew's just bringing me stuff, but the morning show brings me stuff. Matt comes over that produces that show and says, hey, this guest was good. Do you want him? And I go, Dad, that's a great guest. Thank you. I don't go, oh my God, Matt, you're trying to run my show. That's all he had. In the last few months, like I'd go, hey, you ought to have this guest on. And he would just ignore me. And they'd say, oh, he blew up about that. Hey, Stuart Rhodes is here today. Would you like him on? See if Owen wants him on. That's censorship right there, man.
All right, so I think a lot of this.
So I'm done talking about it until 3 p.m. today. I don't know if the crew wants to, you know, come on the air and talk about it. They certainly been talking about behind the scenes here. Just the rampant censorship here. There's like big screen TVs with cameras in every room, hooked into Benjamin Netanyahu's office. And it's not me. Netanyahu comes on and like literally over loudspeakers goes, excuse me, you need to do this, you need to do that. And we just go, oh, yes, Mr. Netanyahu. And we bow 5 times a day towards Jerusalem.
That kind of sounds like what Trump is probably doing, let's be honest.
To Benjamin Netanyahu. And Owen wouldn't do it. He said, you must bow to Netanyahu. And he said, I will not. And I just, you know, I just can't handle it.
The photo.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Listen, I really shouldn't even be doing this. I'm going to stop now. It's just the betrayal is just so spectacular. So, and oh, you want publicity? You're getting it now. I mean, I'm just waiting for the next flotilla of bullcrap. So you can be the good man. And you can point at me and say, good night to the bad man. Guys, pull up the Scarface clip. Scarface saying good night to the bad man. You need me so you can point your finger and say, there's the bad man. Well, say good night to the bad man, who the enemy recognizes for being the detonator of the entire global awakening right now. Oh, I didn't start it. Great page before me did that we've given credit to and we love. But in the modern age, we're the detonator. We're the progenitor. We launched the giant wave you now see exploding into the biggest wave ever. And so all these people, they just need to not have Jesus Christ, not have the Holy Spirit. No. They need the purity of the Pharisees to say, we are good. Like, that's when they get hired. They know that, but we never do it. Remember the famous thing where I throw the hat like 25 feet away and it hits Owen right on the head? We can't find that, but you know, that was the stick. That was the fun thing. Like, you know, pop in there every once in a while. But now it's the censorship. He's like, how do I say I'm censored? Well, he comes to the studio maybe once a month now. He brings articles to the crew. He recommends guests. That's I'll just vaguely talk about he's hanging over me. He's in a newsroom. I mean, if you're in a newsroom and ain't like that, TV or radio or whatever, you ain't a newsman. And Owen says he's going on to do hard news now, as if he couldn't do whatever he wanted before. No, he does hard, whining, black pill. We're all doomed. It's all over. Grimer worm tongue. I
mean, look, a lot of his black pill stuff, quote unquote, seems right to me.
Calls his show the Grimer Worm Tongue Hour. But getting back to what I was saying here, it's very important, obviously. It feels really good just because I tell the truth on news and politics and issues, but the last place I lie, I mean, completely truthful here, is holding back and taking the high road. But I realize that's not always the high road. No, I'm embracing dark Alex, dark InfoWars.
Hey, thanks for being here, Wingus. Yeah, hope you have a great evening. Yeah, I don't... It's already almost 6, so I don't think we're going to get to the game. We'll probably just react to what the Fallen Angel brought up earlier. So, hey, thanks for being here, Wingus. Have a good one, man.
Maybe I'll just start saying everything about Owen. Feels so good to do it. Because he wants to say I'm the impure one. He wants to say I'm the snake. But I've done nothing but support him while getting slapped in the face with arrogance.
I'm jacked up on the methylene blue as the peel. Like that. I something did.
So I have
All
game
right,
changer around here.
That's all ads going forward. All right, well, that's the end of that. So that was Owen Schroyer quitting InfoWars, Alex Jones exploding over it. Because yeah, it's a pretty insane situation. So, whew. Yeah, and he's still ranting about it on his show. Like yesterday, today, he's been bringing it up over and over. Meanwhile, I haven't heard a word from Owen since the original video. So, yeah, there we go. All right, so next up, I think, yeah, so it's almost 6, so we're not gonna have time. We're not gonna have time to get into Psychonauts. But I think Fallen Angel, you brought up, what's it called? You brought up a video worth watching, right? Ricada body cam footage recreation. Let's find it. Well, let's see if we can find it. Here, Kino, alright. Ah, yes, this one. The Ricada body cam footage recreated. Kiwi Farm shitpost. Alright, let me just double check that our audio is good. Set this back to standard. Tom goes to the mayor? Is that part of this clip? Oh, I like how the thumbnail has the Sonichu medallion in it. That's just perfect.
Police, open up. We got a warrant.
Yeah, I might need to turn the volume back up.
We got a warrant. Open up.
Nick said not to open the door.
Well, we're the police, and you gotta let us in. Otherwise, we'll kick that door in.
Nick said not to open the door for cops especially.
You flinched. Nah,
the style.
Pussy. Where'd you go? You okay?
I'm here.
Sarge, look.
Nice. All his drugs. All the Baldo
Where's
drugs.
the sheriff? He's busy. With what? Sucking wieners. I got the kids. Let them change into some clean clothes and...
We love our cops, our law enforcement. I'm thinking of that, the Alex Jones song. We love our Somalis. We love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet.
Then take them outside. They don't have any. Take them outside then. Sarge found these two hiding in the bedroom.
Alaska.
Take them
Yeah, I don't
both
follow
outside for questioning.
I'm not too familiar with
Once you
Big
get
Alaska.
that done, call the sheriff and give him an update. 10-4, Sarge.
Oh, the cops are cuts of Baked Alaska. I see. So you're saying that the cops are modeled after this guy Baked Alaska. I see.
They don't have any. Take them outside then. Sarge found these two hiding in the bedroom. Take them both outside for questioning. Once you get that done, call the sheriff and give him an update. 10-4, Sarge.
Get out of my house! Get out of my house! Now, 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 now!
We've got a warrant to search the premises, so we need you.
Beautiful. I like the high-pitched whining Ricada. That really sells it. Plus the Sonichu medallion.
Get out of my house! Get out of my...
Yeah. I love how they just gave him the Sonichu medallion. That really sells it. And they even included his crappy tattoos. There's 100 little details in the video. That's why I say it's Kino. Yeah.
My house! Now, 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 now!
We've got a warrant to search the premises, so we need you.
The squeal. I like
You
that.
have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Now, we want to ask you some questions. A quick interview. We want to get an idea of the layout.
It's a recreation of the transcript of the video. Yeah, because they weren't able to get the actual video for various reasons. So they got the transcript. Was what I think, from what I remember on Kino Casino, they were saying. Josh Moon, Null of Kiwi Farms, he got some people to go into the courthouse, request to see the video, and they were able to like take notes, and so that's basically what the transcript was, is these people's notes from body cam footage. But the actual footage was never released to the public, because I guess Nick has some kind of connections that kept it out of the public. Null covered this on his stream. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't watch Null's streams, but I just remember what I saw on Kino. So.
Layout of the house, where the nanny is at, and who all stays here.
What's your probable cause?
You have the search warrant.
Cool, you have no probable cause.
Are you willing to talk with me?
Sure, you still have no probable cause.
I'm not discussing all that. You've been given the search warrant. You should know how this works.
What I know is that you have no probable cause.
Right. So, Kayla's your wife then. Who's the other woman?
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is accurate to the transcription. I believe. In which case, him going on and on about probable cause is just silly, because, I mean, he's a lawyer. He should know once they have the warrant, the probable cause doesn't really matter for conducting a search, right?
Woman.
She's April. She's just a friend. She's just visiting. She doesn't live here.
It actually is, yeah.
She came out of the bedroom.
So she came out of the bedroom.
When I have people over, they don't go in my bedroom.
I don't give a shit what you do!
I'm just asking questions.
You're not. You're making statements.
Where do you stay in the residence?
Yeah, also the dog barking is part of the recreation. Yeah, because the dog was like trapped in the bathroom or something. It is very annoying, though.
All over. It's my house.
Do you stay in the master bedroom?
When I'm in there, I stay in there, sure.
Is that where you sleep at night?
Yes.
That's all I needed to know. Do you want to tell me where things are in the house to help expedite the search?
Where what things are?
You saw the warrant. We're looking for control.
Imp, welcome, Imp. How you doing, man?
The more the magicer.
Yeah, we're at the tail end of the stream because it's already 6. But yeah, you missed the you missed some of the earlier React stuff. You missed the big Alex Jones Owen Schroyer segment. So now Fallen Angels got me watching a recreation of the Nick Rekieta body cam footage, which is certainly something.
Controlled substances.
I'm not admitting to anything. That's ridiculous. You still have no probable cause.
We're gonna be searching the house. We're gonna be contacting family services.
Why?
Because we've already found cocaine in the house.
You might have been here earlier if people weren't
We're
idiots.
not here on a whim.
Yes, you are.
Rough day cooking. Cooking Chef Imp. Chef Imp, yeah. I can call you that, right? I can tell you later. Work is effing dumb. Yeah. That's most work. Yeah, if you watch earlier in the stream, you'll see how some people have much easier jobs. And they get paid way too much to do them. Because they have... let's just say they have 2 things that the rest of us don't. Call me whatever you want, just don't call me late for dinner. Well, I'm never late for dinner because I make my own dinner. Or get fast food. HR, middle management is cancer? Yes, they are. HR is part of what we were talking about earlier.
Are?
No, we're not.
Yes.
We came here looking for controlled substances. We were only in the house for about 1 minute and already found some.
I don't know anything about that. Just wait until my mom hears about this. Do you know who my dad is? I'll have all your badges for this.
Where'd you pick him?
I like how you just hear him yelling in the background. Beautiful. Oh, I like how there's this picture of Robert Barnes in the background. I don't know who this is on the right. But I like how there's just a picture of Robert Barnes in the background on the left. Ghosted another applicant award. Yep. Well, half the time now it's not even HR. It's just whatever like AI tools that they use that just automatically filter out the competent people in favor of, diversity. Nightmare is never late, nor is he early. He eats precisely when he means to. Yep, barring any unforeseen external circumstances, like extended phone calls.
Pick him up at.
Now I want some Taco Bell. I've been trying to eat healthy, but now I really want some Taco Bell.
St. Cloud. What was he doing over there?
Wait. Is that Camelot? Is that Camelot?
Have you been read your Miranda rights?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got some questions.
Could I, go get my purse first? I don't have my phone.
I could get one of the officers to get it for you if you tell me where it is.
It's in the bedroom.
Why is it in there?
I fell asleep.
You slept in the master bedroom?
Yeah. I, live here. So where else would I sleep?
Right. Silly me.
Basically, we're doing a golf tournament. We had a whole setup out on the golf course setup so it could be managed by one person. Then it magically got moved for reasons, then they split stuff up. Yeah. Yeah, sounds like someone messed something up. I wonder who moved it, though. Was it the golf people, or was it your people? I can no longer be managed by one person, so I got tasked with basically sitting on your ass for 2 hours. Which would be nice, but nobody did what I needed to do. So I left 2 hours late. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it is. And of course, if you didn't do it, you would have been blamed and you would get in trouble.
So Child Protective Services are on their way. Do you have any family you could call?
She's just
any
not saying
friends?
anything.
Hello?
Why does Child Services have to get involved?
It's because we found drugs in your house and your daughter tested positive for cocaine.
That's not true!
Yeah, huh? At 10 times the cutoff.
That's not true! In fact, if I had to guess, it was probably you who gave her cocaine!
No.
When the voice gets all high-pitched, he just sounds like a woman.
We got multiple reports about possible child endangerment, but we weren't expecting this.
Aaron.
Who's Aaron?
Yeah, supposedly, Neo, this is roughly how it went based on the transcript that was given by the people who got to see the video. The blue fingers are wink to whippets. Okay, I don't really know a whole lot about that. I know he's been doing some kind of, he's been huffing some kind of compressed air, whipped cream ingredients, but yeah, I don't know a ton about how that stuff works. What have you come back to, Fractured? Well, Fractured, so we finished up with Alex Jones. And so Fallen Angel has me watching a recreation of the Ricada body cam footage. Huffing something other than his farts. Yeah, galaxy gas or something, apparently. But I like how as soon as Aaron is mentioned, that's when Kayla starts paying attention.
Someone do something about that dog. 10-4, Sarge.
Wait, these are cops. If someone says, someone do something about that dog, these are cops. I'm really shocked that they didn't just shoot the dog, because that's usually what cops would do. Oh no.
How's the search going? Slow. We found more drugs in multiple rooms and a couple of loose guns, but the amount of trash is making it an ordeal. What type of drugs?
Not that much.
Cocaine, ketamine, and all sorts of pills. Sarge found some more pills. Who's Celeste? It's his mother. He was yelling about her earlier. He's stealing pills from his mom. I'm gonna go talk with the kids. Where was he? Locked in the bathroom, pissing shit everywhere. Gross. I want to ask a couple of questions, if y'all don't mind, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine too. What's it like living here?
It's always something with you. Do you know how busy I am? No, because
God.
you don't care. Because you only
Those
ever
poor
think
kids.
about yourself. Because you lack even the basic decency to consider how others feel. So, fine, I'll drive you to church since you love God so much.
Wait, who is... Do you guys have any idea who this guy in the photo is? Because I have no idea. He looks vaguely familiar, but I can't tell who he is. This guy on the left here. Like, I feel like I should know him, but I can't put my finger on it.
Drive you to church since you love God so much.
Can't say I know.
Get in the car!
Nick, there's nothing to eat.
Well, we've got plenty to drink!
Jeez. Oh, that's messed up.
I'm not gonna hurt you. But I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, I mean, Rekieta, it turns out, is just an absolutely terrible dad. He threw away, like... You've stopped following a lot of the Rekieta drama for some time. Yeah. I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot in a while anyway, but... Yeah, like, I mean, Rekieta had it all. He had an amazing job that, you know, streaming that made him tons of money. Little girl shaking because of drugs is a nice detail. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Rekieta had an amazing job, made him tons of money. It was easy. He had, you know, he had a wife and kids. You know, I think a trust fund, tons of money, basically everything he wanted. And he threw it away to do drugs and sleep with some random woman. So I can't say I have any sympathy for him. And I can't really say I have any sympathy for his wife either. I just feel really bad for those kids.
Oh my god. What is, like, gonna happen to me?
Have you already forgotten the solemn vow I made? Chaos would let the world burn before he let any harm befall his Valkyrie.
Oh god. Oh god, what is that animation? How did they make her look so terrifying when she grins like that? Yeah, I know, right?
If ever these deceivers try to lead you astray, remember this and what it means.
A furry tattoo? Okay. I'm guessing this is not real. But now I'm wondering what's actually there. It's Tom Goes to the Mirror. I've never seen that, though, Fallen Angel.
Means.
That's an awful lot of comfort for just a friend.
I hope you get gonorrhea and die.
Watch your head.
What?
Oh, okay. There it ends. Sheesh. It's not real, but it is in my mind. It was, So that was a recreation of the Nick Rekieta body cam footage. Like how the dialogue sounds like a comedy skit, even though it's mostly direct quotes. Your daughter tested positive for cocaine and cocaine accessories. Sad thing is it's probably 10 times worse than this, even though this is supposed to be over-the-top parody. The real version would put it to shame, I suspect. The Citizen Kane of body cam footage. Love that he's wearing the Sonichu medallion. Yeah, that's my favorite part too. I'd watched this miniseries, Breaking Baldo. They totally could make a TV show out of Nick Rekieta at this point. The most believable thing about this footage is his children calling him by his name instead of Dad. Yeah, that's certainly rough. I would suspect the same as well. You got the Sonichu as well, Oof. Yeah. Yeah, the Sonichu medallion was very fitting. It is, and it's a story that makes me sad for his kids, but angry for everything he threw away. He did it entirely to himself, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He absolutely did. All he had to do was not... Okay, well, not do drugs and not sleep with, like, someone else's wife. I nearly pissed myself laughing when he pulls up in the Lawpup car and looked out the window at Camelot. Jeez. Oh, there we go. He's body cam footaged. He's sharded. He's blue. He's floorless. Jeez. I'm surprised there isn't a... He's gay! Because usually when someone references these Kino Casino quotes, they usually include a "he's gay" in there somewhere. The Aaron Shrine. This needs an Oscar. Officer Baked. Release the body slam footage. Nice. Or go to weird swinger retreats. Well, yeah, that's kind of roped in with the sleeping with someone else's wife part. The way the children's experiences were framed made me sad. Yeah, that is very sad. Absolutely. Yeah, so. Never put on the Sonichu medallion. Absolutely. Accurate depiction of our wife. Get out of my house now, 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 now! Highest quality shit post, absolutely. The first faint, get out of my house, and Nick's voice is amazing. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so that was the Nick Rekieta body cam footage recreation. What an event, chat. And I guess with that, it's almost 6:30, so there's really not a whole lot of time left to play a game. So I was going to introduce you fine folks to our new friend, Linda. But it's too late. So hopefully next week we'll save a little time for Psychonauts. It's now canon. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much is. Yeah, hopefully we'll save some time for Psychonauts next week. But I really appreciate all of you coming by today. Everyone, let's see who's still here. Fallen Angel, Fractured, Imp, Neo. I know we had some other folks here. We had Wingus, Snap. And again, thank you for the tip, Snap. Wish I'd been able to come in sooner. Blame my GM. Yep. Management types are always a disaster, man. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming by. This was just a blast of a stream. Not entirely what I expected, but we saw some interesting things today. So hope you had as much fun as I did. And hopefully we will see you guys again next week. And have a lovely evening.